Kranky life is the place to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Kranky life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Kranky life, tell them. Kranky life, heed them. Kranky life, want them. Kranky life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Kranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Kranky life, tell them. Kranky life, heed them. Kranky life, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Kranky life, get to know the name because Kranky analysis is never lame. Kranky life, give me my Kranky life. I want my Kranky life. Must have my Kranky life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Kranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Kranky life. Tell them, Kranky life. Heed them, Kranky life. Want them, Kranky life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Kranky life. Tune into Kranky life. Like up Kranky life. Subscribe to Kranky life. Kranky life coming to you on weekdays. Kranky life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Kranky will always bring the heat. Kranky life. Me say fi tell them Kranky life. Me say fi heed them Kranky life. On them Kranky life. Kranky life will be around. Kranky life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Kranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Heed, want, heed them. Good evening. Thanks for joining me. I am Kranky and you have tuned into the Kranky Live talk show coming to you most weekdays, I won't say every weekdays, from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 5 to 7 p.m. Jamaica time. Or if you're on the West Coast, it's from 3 to 5 p.m. West Coast time. So thanks for being here. As you do come into the forum, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. We have a lot to talk about today. There are three main topics on the agenda. One is to talk about the West Indies victory against New Zealand, which was immense yesterday. Those of you who are cricket fans. One to talk about the basketball NBA finals, which have been a dud so far, frankly. But we'll briefly touch upon it. And third is to talk about the Jamaica squad and some of the controversies surrounding that squad. And thanks for those of you who have joined so far, or those who have made comments. Ted Dexter, Owen, Mindset Media. Thanks for being here. And as I said, I see 11 people in the chat. I'm going to call this out as we go through the program because I realize how important it is. 7 likes and 11 people. We need to change that to make it even 12 and 11 with more likes than those watching, because you may have 2 apparatuses or 2 devices you're using. You can't always watch it on both or have somebody else in your house or watch it. But I appreciate you being here. I'm going to touch upon some other news that are happening, and then we can jump into the main topic. So those of you who may follow the EPL, if you're an Arsenal fan, we've been chasing Sesko from Leipzig. It's now decided that he has now decided to stay with Leipzig and sign a new contract. So there goes that. And we need a center forward to help us win the league. And now we got to go search and maybe may have to pay arm and a leg for Osimhen if we go that route. But there are other forwards out there, but it's tough. We may even have to revert to Ivan Toney, who's looking to leave Brentford. Secondly, for Manchester United and those like Coach Mins, who are a Man U fan, you've retained Eric Ten Hag. He's won 2 trophies. More than Arteta has won in the last 3 years. So some good things there, but you won't be in Europe this year. Well, no, that's not correct. You'll be in Europe because you won the FA Cup, but you won't be in the Champions League. So that should be interesting. And you don't have a lot of money to spend. So not sure how that's going to work out actually for you, but I'm sure Manu, with a lot of his commercial revenues and all his revenue streams, will figure it out. And then thirdly, I want to bring up this, which I just saw, a friend of mine just sent to me a while ago. Yes, we'll talk about that mindset, the West Indies. And see if you guys can read this and tell me what this says. Tell me if you can read this, because I thought this was interesting, actually. And we have had this discussion about people converting, changing nationalities, things of that nature. Those who are rejects, as some people call them. I'm gonna call you a Gunners boss. Foreign rejects. You see this on the screen, people? You see what it says? Huh? Did you read what it says? I'm gonna read it for you if you can't read it, because it may not be clear. It says, American-born 16-year-old Skylar Franklin, who became the fastest 400 meters sophomore in U.S. history at 51.66, which is a phenomenal time, because if you think about it, the U.S. produced phenomenal 400-meter runners. If you're running 51.6 as a 16-year-old, and I think Nikisha Price from Jamaica ran 48 something the other day in college, which is a national record for Jamaica, then you know you're doing brilliantly. She has chosen to represent Jamaica because she's of Jamaican descent and she has citizenship by her descent, which then says, hurrah to Jamaica, hurrah to her. We welcome you, we appreciate you, and we want you to be part of this whole Jamaica community. So I say that to say this, that no matter where you live in the world, if you are Jamaican, either by birth, by descent, by naturalization, I think you should be embraced. And I think it's something we need to do more of, and we don't do enough of it. So, and that's really, really important, actually. So, Skylar Franklin, welcome to Jamaica. Welcome to your Jamaican, represent Jamaica in athletics, and hopefully you go on to break the world record at some point in your future. And at 16, if you progress based on where your age is and what you have ran, then this future is extremely bright. I'll touch some of these comments first before I jump into the topics, because I don't want to miss them, because I'm sure the more people join, the less we'll see people. We have 9 likes on 18, 17 watching. Come, people, change the numbers. Change the numbers. Tycoon is saying, Kranky, what can we do to get speed and butter away from Jamaica football? We look better on the world stage. Well, I don't think speed is the one creating the havoc, right? I think you can blame the JFF, including Speed, Rudolph, for the women's situation. But also, frankly, it's not them that create the news. It's the players that create the news. Speed and JFF didn't go out in the public domain and say Jamaica didn't help provide money to go to the World Cup in Australia. It was the ladies that come out and said that. Speed didn't come out and say they didn't get paid. Now, I understand people that get the situation around money and people should be paid for their work. Totally agree. You hear me talk about the JFF ad nauseum for a long time now, and they need to get better, which I think they're trying to do. But the players are the one who are airing the dirty laundry in public. Now, sometimes you do that because you're frustrated, but the players are the one doing that. It's not the JFF going out and saying it, frankly. So I understand the mindset. I understand the perspective. But who is the one going on in public and airing the dirty laundry? And the last situation that people are alluding to, that's a unique one, actually. Because I hear one player doing it. Look, it happened before. We know what happened with Lowe and the team when they went to Austria a number of years ago. We have seen bringing some new blood to help with the administration part of it. We have seen some improvement. But it's the one player who's come in, and the one player is backed by somebody. And I don't want my program to be taken over by that discussion. But when we touch into the squad, which I'll do later on in discussion, because I want to get some of the other things out of the way, we will do that. Let me go back to basketball. Let me do them in sequence of importance. Let me go to basketball. So last night, I had a dilemma. I could watch the NBA Finals, which came on at 8:30. I could watch the West Indies play New Zealand, which came on at 8:30. Or I could watch the CVM announcement of the Copa America squad, which came on Jamaica time, whatever that time is, because I ran a 2 hour program from 6 to 8. I dropped off and say, you know what, I'm done for the evening. I then say, and here's what changed my mind about coming on and doing a 1 hour program of the whatever it was that happened, but now it's in the squad. The Dallas game didn't look good to me. So I said, you know what, I'm not as interested as I should be. So I'm watching at the corner of my eye. The West Indies were 20 something for 4. You know, King and Chase and Powell and who's our wicketkeeper? His name is slipping me now. They all got out pretty quickly, and I was annoyed. I'm like, I'm not watching this. But also in the corner of my eye, you know, just to say, do we improve? So I decided to watch the CVM announcement, and which took forever because I think it was supposed to come on. I think it was 8 something too. It didn't occur until 9:30, and we'll touch upon that because that was a debacle. So we'll get back to that, the whole process surrounding that. So for the NBA Finals, obviously Dallas are down 3-0. The news of the day today, the whole focus has been on Luka Doncic behavior and how he moans and complains to the ref. Brilliant player. Can't deny his talent. But no, brilliant offensive player. Cannot deny his offensive talent. An awful defender. And an awful person when it comes to just whining and moaning the entire game. Every call he should get, whether it's wrong or right, points at the ref. He probably should get 5 technical trying to get kicked out of the game. Because referees are partial to elite players. They will acquiesce those players. They won't hit. You know, I saw what's her name, Reese, the other day playing women's NBA, roll her eyes or flip her finger, and she got a technical and got 2 technical and got kicked out of the game. They wouldn't do that to Luka. They wouldn't do that to some of the stars. They wouldn't do that to Jason Tatum. You know, Tatum does get his fair share of technical. Luka gets away with murder when it comes to that. And to me, that needs to change. And he hurt his team yesterday by fouling out. But more importantly, his whining has gotten on people's nerves. So if you watch ESPN this morning, that's all they talk about. Was Luka, how he's hurt his team, how poor he was. And I'm sure that pressure will eventually get to him and he'll change his behavior. Because all you need is to be, you know, given a very difficult time by the media and others around your behavior. And at some point, you have to change. And people get annoyed with you and can't tolerate you. Now, his talent is so great. I'm not sure how people balance that out. But I think his behavior has been atrocious. And the referee needs to call him up on that, punish him for that. And that's the only way he's going to change his behavior. You change your behavior when, you know what, you can't play. It's going to be about money. You take $100, $200, $300,000 from those kids. Who cares? You're not playing, which is what you want to do, which is how you make your living, which is how you get your notoriety, which is how you get your flowers. You'll change your behavior. So, yeah. Tycoon is saying the NBA Finals have been the lowest ratings in years. Yeah, because it's not an interesting series, right? There's no dynamic players in there like an Edwards, for example, or it's not a big city. If New York was in the finals, I bet it'd be blowing off the ratings chart, right? Because New Yorkers are everywhere. So it's not surprising that ratings are low. And the ratings only get lower when you have a 3-0 lead in the finals, actually. So not surprising. So I'm sure, but you know what? Adam Silver is not worried. He's now trying to work on a 6-7 years, $70 billion contract between NBC, Amazon, ESPN. So why would he stress about that? Sports is a need, not a want, people. Sports is entertainment. That's why we keep complaining about Jamaica's football and how boring the darn football is, because people want to be entertained. That's why they pay $70 billion, because people are going to watch sports because it's real, it's active, it's live, it's not made up, it's not a movie, it's not pretend, it's actuality. So why wouldn't you want to watch it, right? And it sells. You can sell all your different programs through sports. You can sell all your different commercials through sports. It generates interest. So why wouldn't you do that? So I don't think he's stressing, but I think networks should be stressing if this continues to have teams in the finals who are not generating any interest. It's one thing to have small market teams. When it's small market teams don't have dynamic players, they only exacerbate that situation. So it should be interesting where that goes to. Yeah, Stefan, Kid can say that, but Luka is more important than Jason Kidd, frankly, to the Dallas Mavericks. So Luka is going to do what Luka does until Luka realizes that it's getting nowhere, until Luka gets penalized. Only thing that deters people is punishment, but real good punishment. not superficial punishment. So, enough of the NBA final because it's boring, frankly. And I haven't spent a ton. I've watched some of it, but I watch it more in spurts than in watching the entirety of it. I will admit, though, I watched every second of the Knicks game against Philly and every second of the Knicks game against Indiana because obviously New York is my team. Now we go to cricket. Excuse me one second. But I sip my water. I was gonna say champagne, but you guys wouldn't believe me because you know I don't drink. People, 19 likes for 26 people. Come on. Hit the like button, people. As you come in, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed, please do so. So the next topic is West Indies cricket. So I follow West Indies cricket most of my life actually. Um, and in the older days, West Indies was dominant in cricket. And I always tell people that, when you have significant amount of resources, it can change your fortune in life, even in sports. And you see that with England and with India, who back in the days, think about late 70s, 80s, weren't that good cricketing nations, but they invest in the sport and they have done phenomenally well since then, especially India, frankly, was a billion, 4+ people, and they're cricket mad over there. So you can see when you have that much people, you can generate a lot of funding to help support those programs. So the West Indies played New Zealand last night. They won their first two games against minors, Uganda and Papua New Guinea, and won pretty well, especially against Uganda. They struggled with their first game. Against Uganda, they bowled them out for 35 or 38, whatever the number was, and they made 100 plus, so played well. Against New Zealand, though, last night, I started watching the game, and I was so perturbed because we were 20-something down for 4 wickets. Really bad. At some point, we were 35 for 5, I think it was. And then Rutherford decided to go on his own individual display and end up making 68 from about 39 or whatever number of balls and brought us to about 149, scoring 37 of the last 2 overs, bringing us from about 112 or what the number was to 149. And we were 112 for 9 at one point in the 18th over. And you thought, maybe we get about 120, or we end up getting 149, which worked out really well because we got relaxed in the last couple of overs of New Zealand innings and almost want to create some excitement in the game. But I thought they played well. They're now in the final 8, which is a great thing because we didn't make the T50. We didn't make the 50 over World Cup, which was played in India, which was really sad for West Indies cricket. But we've always done well most times in T20, and this looks like another one. Our batting needs to improve significantly, but it's always the case. Our bowling, especially our spin bowlers at the top of the order, bowl really well. And hopefully that will continue going forward in the series. But you should watch the cricket. It's really entertaining. And nobody wants to watch cricket for 5 days, which is Test cricket, even though the purists love it. But T20 is like watching a baseball game, but it's more interesting to me than baseball, right? So I think if you have a chance to watch, you're not familiar with cricket, you should. If you are, you should watch it because it's entertaining and it's fun, and West Indies are doing well, and hopefully continues. They should try to win the zone over Afghanistan and then play the lesser team in the next round, but we'll see what happens. But it's going well so far. It's been well represented in Trinidad and Guyana. Here in Long Island, New York, people are going to the games. They're interested in the games. They're following the games. And those who give me a hard time, like Kranky, when I like cricket, I look at some YouTube channels. They're running thousands, and especially the ones from India, thousands of people are on live watching games. Some games I wouldn't even watch, right? I'm not watching the Bangladeshs of the world or the Scotlands of the world, but people are watching, unless they're playing West Indies, but people are watching those games in numbers. So it's doing really well and hopefully continues. So those are quick summaries of the NBA finals and the cricket. And now we come to Jamaica's football. So last night we watched an interesting scenario. And, the JFF has been working, big up Richard Green, has been working to improve their image somewhat. But it needs a lot of improvement, people. I mean, think about this. You have this big brouhaha about coming on national TV, CVM, to announce the Copa America squad. So when you do something like that, everybody has this great anticipation. You know what? We must be getting some new faces in. Squad going to be great. We're looking forward to it. We won 2 World Cup qualifiers. Some people are happy. It's a win. Some are not happy about how we played. Some saying, well, we're missing 5, 6 players, so it's going to change. So we had one of the announcers having discussion with the coach and talking about, well, Cephas is not in the squad, and the coach is like, Cephas is in the squad. No, first of all, they dropped a squad, but then they were talking about it, right? He says Cephas is not in the squad. Coach says Cephas is in the squad. We look at the sheet. Cephas is in the squad. That was the one that CVM dropped, right? So I'm not sure why the announcer had the information mixed up. Then we look in the squad, and there are a couple of players who were, and maybe I should find the squad someplace. There are a couple of players who we thought were in the squad, but were not in the squad, right? And then subsequently we hear, so they dropped the CVM sheet, then they dropped the sheet by the JFF drop its sheet, which I have in front of me, and at some point I'll pull it up. Let me find it, because they drop it for the media group, and in that listing, Lambert was in the first listing. He was in the second listing, actually. Leon was in the listing for both, but then we're told we saw something drop saying, "Oh, misinformation," which is really interesting, actually, which it doesn't have a good look. And then you see subsequent information coming out about the player and him not going to be available for the squad, which is frankly is embarrassing, actually. And obviously the JFF owns this, but if you heard Rudolph earlier on Minzy's Coach Desk program, the view is that the coach make a decision about the team. That is not about the JFF. The coach has the latitude. The coach, you have Siri here or whatever the heck this is. It talks on its own. Sorry about that, people. If you hear some noise in the background. But the coach has the latitude and the autonomy to make decision about who's in the team, right? And he decided to have Leon in the team, but he decided that, you know what? I'm not going to play. I'm not in the team. So where did that come about, where we had that disagreement, where we had that misstep, where we had that lack of communication between the parties involved? Yeah, Tuffy Rudy. It's great plans for communication, but the communication went well in terms of how articulate they were, but the substance of the communication was poor, right? So you communicate well about what you're doing. You build this up to be something great. We all get excited. We all are looking forward to it. And then lo and behold, we realize that, you know what? This is not what it's supposed to be. And then all we're hearing now today, is that this player will not be playing. And wherever you go and whoever you talk to, that's the level of discussion, which is about the player, about his management, about whether or not the player is loyal or not. And there's a lot of discussion about this. And so you ask yourself, which is, really? So this is the team, actually, people. And here's the sad part about this. So if you're part of the Reggae Boyz squad, nobody's talking about you. All they're talking about is the person who is not in the squad, which is sort of sad, isn't it? So instead of the conversation being about the squad, do we like the squad? Do we not like the squad? Do we have the right number of midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers? This is the squad. This is the final squad, by the way. That's not the conversation. The conversation about this one player who is deemed to be an exceptional player by some, not being in the squad. Bless up, Ricardo. Thanks for joining. People, we have 34 people watching, 28 people liking. The like needs to exceed the watching people. So please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. So it is unfortunate that we're having this. And I was on Minzy's program today, and I didn't pull punches about how I feel about this. Now, I've always said this, people. You hear me say this 101 times. Athletes got to focus on themselves and their family. That's imperative. That's the most important thing. And do what's best for you and your family. regardless of everyone else. Because fans are like this. We don't care who you are. We just want our teams to win. And we want the best players to play. And if you have issues, mental, physical, or otherwise, we're just like, you know what? Next man up, next person up. That's not our issue, right? Which is unfortunate. And if that's the case, I've always said you got to think about yourself first, everything in second. So if a player say, I'm not playing because I have physical ailment, mental ailment, that's up to the player. We go to the next man up. And you hear me always advocating to have, which is also very important, competition for places at every position. In fact, maybe 3 for every position. Because there are always injuries. There are always situations that occur where you're going to have replacements. And you want to make sure that's the case. You should not have a situation where somebody get hurt and you're scrambling, right? Sometimes you have players who are so exceptional, they're difficult to replace, but you want to have competent backups, actually. And I think as a Jamaica squad, that's why you see a lot of people are focused on recruiting. We need to make sure that's in place. Now, the coach today put out a message to the media where he talked about, got interviewed. I think it was mainly, I'm going to call it a safe face interview. And tell me guys if you can hear it. I'm going to try to play it, actually. Tell me if you can hear this interview.
We have with us the head coach of the Reggae Boyz, Hamer Harbinson. Coach, the squad has been announced for the Copa America this summer.
Guys, let me know if you can hear this, and I'll stop it and try to make sure selected. Just text it in the comment section. Indicate you can hear this.
It's more or less the players that we have been playing last year and a half. A group of players that have done pretty well for Jamaica. It was a little bit different. The rules from Common Ball for Copa America, the rule change is that normally it's a 23-man squad. But in this case, both in Copa and in the Euros, coaches and federation can name a 26-man squad. We thought a 23-man squad is enough for Jamaica. Normally, the playing time for a few players is not much in a competition like this. So we went for a 23-man squad and opted to have 3 senior players as an optional players if they would be able to join, 2 for coming from injury. And yeah, so that is how we decided to do it, to select a 23-man squad, and then to have a player like Andre Blake back coming from a surgery on his knee. I think it would be really good for the squad if he would be in one form or another. He's a captain. He's a leader in this team. It would be nice to have him on board, whether he is fully fit to play or not. Same I can say about Amari Bell, a very experienced, good player in the squad. So it would be nice if we could make the squad at some point. For them, it's a long shot, but we opted to put them in the squad in case we would go all the way to the end of the tournament. So it would be nice to have them to support the group in the end. And the same, we thought the same about Leon Bailey if he would want to come. And in his case, he decided not to want to play for Jamaica. That's his decision, and that's every player's right to refuse to play for the nation, and he opted to do that, not to play for Jamaica. End of story for me. Absolutely end of story. Now I would like just everyone to focus on those players that want to play for Jamaica and want to represent Jamaica. Let's put our focus and support to those players.
So you heard the coach talking about the rationale for having 2 injured players in his 26-man squad and 1 player who's not going to come. That's the biggest height of incompetence, frankly, people. Biggest height of incompetence. Why do I say that? You watch England pick their squad, and Harry Maguire, who may not be having the best season for Manchester United, but does brilliant for England, have some calf issue, and the projection be he would probably not be able to play the first round, but second round, he wasn't taken to the Euro. People don't waste squad areas. We have people like Reed back in Jamaica who could be in the squad, frankly. Young player could get experience, be around those senior players. If you want to bring Blake, who is injured, and you know he can't play, then you bring him. He doesn't have to be in the squad. You wasted 3 spots. Amari Bell had surgery. Blake had surgery. You don't want to rush them back on the field. Why are they in your squad? That's a mark to me of incompetence. And the worst part is the Leon component, where you have the player in the squad and the player had no intention of coming to the tournament. So didn't you have conversation with the player and come to a consensus, an agreement as to what you're going to do? Like, this is beyond bozo. Sorry to be that crude, but it's a fact. It's unbelievable that these decisions are made the way they are. You wasted 3 slots. You could have brought 3 other players. Now, your rationale, and this is like cover for incompetence, is that, most players are not going to play anyway. So that 3 slots is like a waste. Why do you think people put those 3 slots up? It's to give flexibility to managers and to teams. So you wasted 3 slots for no reason. And those 3 slots could have been better used than what you're using them for. And for the coach to have a player in the squad who decided he wasn't going to come play, I am still scratching my head. I have no hair, so I can't scratch my head as to how do you make that decision? Like, we always attribute this to the JFF. And people, this is not a JFF decision. This is the coach. The JFF may put out a squad, but the coach is the one, they say, have a great relationship with the player. The player actually, to me, bashed the coach in his previous interview. He's doing a game when he put out something saying misinformation. If I'm the coach, are you out of your mind? Like, you cannot see the field with me being the coach. There's no way in God's earth will you play in my team when you're embarrassing me in public on multiple occasions. Where is the authority? Where is the authority in this whole situation? And if you're a player in the team, you must be there thinking, this is not the coach. This coach, why am I? When I say in Jamaica, why am I doing? And sometimes people like Kranky, you're too harsh. Really? Where have you seen these things happen before? Unless there's, when we had situation in Spain won the Women's World Cup, they had major issues with their players. Most of their key players, a lot of key players, I should say most of them, didn't go to Australia. Right? They still won the World Cup because they have a litany of talent, but they didn't go to Australia because the players don't run the administration. They don't run the football program. The people in authority run the program. Whether you like them or not, they run the program. And especially when you have a coach who is not on anybody's side, he just wants to win. He's going to be judged by his record, so he's born his best players. These things cannot be done. So everybody involved with the organization, maybe even in some aspect of this, the JFF, have to take responsibility for this because I don't know who vet this. Like, in every time I heard Southgate, I was using Southgate because we got more information from them than most other teams that I follow. You always say, you know what? I spoke to this player. I spoke to Grealish. I spoke to Madison. I spoke to Rashford. He's not coming. And they're disappointed. But there's a conversation had that then make me know, yea or nay, you're going to be here. If I speak to you like you spoke to Ben White, and Ben White say, you know what? I want to stay home and watch TV. I'm not coming to the Euros. Then at least you're clear in this. How could you put an official squad? In fact, 2 squads, and they're both wrong. How is that forgivable? It's like me getting mad with a coach with his playing style and system style. This just doesn't help the conversation. It doesn't help the conversation. Chris, sad, Chris. Sad. Yeah. Sad, Chris. I don't know what to say about this. And here's the bad thing about this. I thought we'd be coming here today talking about the squad, deciphering the squad, saying who should be in, who should not in, who we didn't like to see, who we'd like to see. That's not what the conversation has been about all day. If you go on, people are rushing to put out the news because it's news. And hopefully just a one-day news and we move on. Because I've said this, people, everybody is replaceable in life. All of us are replaceable. None of us are indispensable. Now, Michael Jordan may leave Chicago and they have been good since, but somebody replaced him. But you want to be good when you get replacement. But everybody is replaceable, no matter how great and how good you are. And I've always said this, make sure you have competent backup so somebody leaves. Now, with this player, I'm going to be honest, because people say you bash the player all the time. That's all you do, Kranky, you bash him. You're unbiased. I always support good outcome, positivity. You hear me talking about Elaine, for example, and that Elaine should never be criticized because she's one of the GOATs. There are 2 GOATs in female track and field to me from Jamaica standpoint. Well, there are 3. I put Merlin Ottey in there, even though she struggled to win gold at the Olympics. It's Merlin, it's Elaine, and it's Shelly Ann. To me, none of those three should ever be bashed, ever be criticized. I know that sounds ridiculous, but for their performance on the court. You can bash them for other things that they may do. You can criticize Merlin for changing nationality, whatever it is, but you can't bash them for performance on the field because they have produced. Right? I hear Asafa Powell coming out talking about, oh, well, we don't know what athletes go through. We understand Asafa, but Asafa, when the big race turn up and we are excited, you never really deliver. So you're going to get criticized. You have to expect that. But you also should be lauded because you ran more under 10-second races than anybody in history. So you should be lauded for your accomplishment. But you're going to get some criticism when you don't win the big races. Elaine shouldn't get criticized. But in this case, this player we're talking about in football, let's get back to the football. The player has played, I keep saying this, and somebody said today on the men's chat, oh, you're only quoting those statistics. What does that mean? He scored 5 goals in 30 games. He has never, as far as I know, been man of the match in any game, the 30 games he played. He has 30 caps. It's a lot of caps for a country. And I don't know which game he played in, which has been dominant, right? And why is that important, Kranky? You focus on that. Yes, because we're making as if the player is indispensable, and he's not indispensable. No player is indispensable, by the way, but some are very difficult to replace. He's not indispensable, and we talk about it that way. And we have programs, and I'm doing the same thing now, which is sad on my part, frankly, to be honest. It's a little bit hypocritical on my part to be talking about this ad nauseum, but I have to do it and get it out my system so I can move on tomorrow and don't talk about it anymore. Right? We focus on those who are here. We don't focus on those who are not here. The player may be brilliant for his club team. The player has not been good for his national team. It's not debatable. I went to watch him when we had COVID in Orlando. I watched him up close. I was sitting right there at the seat and watching him play and thinking, his reputation is not deserved. Now, he's improved since then, since Emery took him over, but I wasn't overly impressed. And it wasn't against the best team. I think it was Suriname and Costa Rica and somebody else. It was no great teams. He was okay. In fact, he wasn't okay. He was not one of our better players. People like Bobby Reed were better. We don't laud the Bobby Reeds of the world. We don't scratch our head about the Bobby Reeds. We don't get anxious about them. We get anxious about this player. It's almost like this player is godlike and the player ain't producing. And a lot of you guys are hypocritical the way you view this, because if Bobby Reed decided to do what the player does, you guys would just bash him and say, that's why enough to go recruit no foreign player. So we tell him to do this. And the player can get away with murder, frankly, when it comes to this. Like anything he does. And his handler, so I'm getting in trouble for saying this, but me not care, is a cancer. Go look up the definition of cancer. He's a cancer. Cancer to the football. He's a cancer in this environment. And he's somebody that, you know what? I want to give so much credit for when he come on, all on the jump on, most on the jump on, for this to him. Hey, this is no cancer. Man's a cancer. Man's a problem. And he's part of the problem with those kids, and those kids need better advice. Those 2 kids who are very good footballers need better advice. Need better advisors. And I said this today, that Bailey will regret at some point when he can't play football no more, like a Benzema does, how he engaged with the national team. Why he's not in the national team? Why he ain't score more goals? Why he ain't get more accolades? You think I would bring him along to go try to win the World Cup? Let me take that back. We ain't winning no World Cup. Get to the World Cup and do well. He ain't going to be my team. Sorry. I like the player's ability, even though he don't produce for the national team. But the player's behavior, if he's above the fray, the national team can't do nothing for him. His handler, who is the most arrogant person who has never seen the word humility ever in his life, doesn't know what humility means. Man, if I go as them say at Jamaica, go I'm going to beat people and bash people, but I'm going to finish the conversation about this because I'm focused on the team. But then people are not good. They're not good for the football star. So when this person comes out, and many of you know I support the person, take a step back and assess everything in its totality. We don't disagree the JFF have their issues. We don't disagree there's conflicts in the JFF. You hear me say I'm not watching any under 20 football, not under 15, not under 17, not under 20, because we have quota system which deny overseas individuals who are naturalized their citizens' right to be part of the national team. So I'm not watching it. I know Rudolph says, we have slots and they can bring people in and only 7 is allocated. No, I'm not watching it. There should be no quota. This is not America with affirmative action. We're not doing that. But at the same time, I think the JFF is trying to improve. You hear me interview Rudolph the other day. I'm very pleased with the direction of travel, what they're trying to do. Money, I'm saying at Jamaica now, I run for the JFF. FIFA money, Adidas money, Copa money, Gold Cup money I run. When money is involved, then you can be better. So I shouldn't hear players complaining about not getting paid or logistical problems not occurring or other people not getting paid.
I would love for the JFF to get their logistic work in order so that the administration is not the conversation. For most countries, the administration is not the conversation, it's the coach and the players. That's what we want. And sometimes the JFF is the conversation. But I think in some instances, even with the girls, you hear me talk about this, part of it is those players' fault, not necessarily the JFF. Now, the JFF is always going to have some culpability because they sometimes don't do things the right way. But it's not only the JFF fault. It's a shared responsibility. And the accountability should be shared. And in this case, to me, the coach is part of the problem. Especially I don't like his style of play and his system of play. I'm just like, this is just exacerbate that situation with me and the coach, frankly. It's not a good look. So I'm going to round this off by saying, people, because I think this has been, I'm exhausted talking about this. It's not a good look. Leon Bailey, whisper, Deshaun, whisper, please look at who's advising you, what decision you're making. Learn to be much more aware in totality. I know you're young and it's hard to do, and sometimes you mature with experience, but look who's advising you. Don't let nobody use you to achieve their own individual objective. In fact, they're not achieve nothing. Because they're not going to run the football, so they don't know what they might try to achieve. Instead of them trying to compromise, which they once told me they're not compromise, God, they know who them is. You try to make sure you get good advice in your life, make this the best decision for you and your family. And I've always said this, focus on your family first, because that's most important, and yourself and your well-being first. That's most important. But make sure you get good advice, because good advice is an imperative for your individual success. Chris is saying, Kranky Tapa was there, same selection process. Paul Hart, same. Algerson, same. If they didn't have him bad game, none of these coaches would take him off, always making this. Look, Chris, the player's a good player, but the player hasn't played well for the national team. That's not debatable. And I've said this earlier when we used to have this conversation. I don't think the player respects the national team. I don't think the player feel any pressure when they're playing, even though they say he feels pressure. The pressure is not being replaced. The player's pressure is producing. There's a difference. Most players who play a sport feel two pressure. One is producing on the field. Two is, if I don't produce, somebody's going to replace me. Player doesn't have that pressure. You only have the production pressure. And 5 in 30, 1 in 6 is not, to me, is not producing. So Michael Woodburn is saying, why take Blake, Bell, and Leon? Yeah, Michael, that's the question I asked at the outset of this discussion, right? People, 86 of you here. People, I get tired. I'm drinking some water. Give me a break. Drink some water. I mean, understand. 39 like. What on most of the people them fan who may have seen like me a bash. I try to bash nobody. Me talk the truth. 39 likes on 86 people. People can't do better than that, you know. Your finger, the one you not hurt you. Just push it on the button, but stay so. Just push it on it, and it will go up. Because we want people to watch this. Because I know me get enough beaten, but someday if you get beaten, you know. If me ever try, if me talk about people, then me expect to get some lashback, not even feedback, some lashback. I mean, no mind. I'm a Brad. I'm retired now, so you know when you're retired, you can take more risk. You know, you can say what you want to say more. You know, and I'm boss, yeah, to deal with. Except I don't know my boss because I don't know bash me. So your boss is like a politician, you know. You don't really have no boss, you know, except in election time. Then you have boss. After that, you know, no boss. So, but people who want to have a good conversation, I want your input. And by the way, people, my phone's supposed to work today. Even though I think I had a friend of mine who's American who gave me a hard time about my choice of communication. Can I say, you're a real Jamaican now, almost as if, because I talked some patois yesterday, quite a bit of it actually. They give me a hard time. But I think most of my audience have Jamaican heritage or West Indian heritage and therefore understand the communication. But I would agree that the communication needs to be global and universal in nature, so or in substance, so everyone can understand what I'm saying. I'm not just talking to a segment of the audience. But let me start begging now, because I want to beg. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. You just say now, hit the like button, people. We have a talk today. We have a conversation. Tony in the house. Where I said Tony? See, Tony is Guyanese descent, but Tony understand the patois. Bless up, Tony. Thanks for joining. And Tony, I got a lot of feedback. So I'm lashing Tony for the segment we did last Monday on racism by UK media for black footballers. Why, Tony? Some people are extremely unhappy, but I think they have the other persuasion. And I can understand the concept and the perspective, but I think they need to realize that they live in glass houses and they need to experience what we're experiencing, and also try to empathize more and take it from the other side, not just from their perspective, but be more broad-based in their assessment. If we disagree with your opinion, we'll use a disrespect. No. When you call people idiot, Demo, that's disrespect, Demo. Remember that, Demo. When you call people idiot, that's disrespect. No, I call nobody idiot. Except me call somebody saying they have no humility. Or they are egotistical. When you call somebody idiot, Demo, that's disrespect. That's why I called you out on this. If I like it, tough. But now I call you idiot. Come and think you're an idiot. So always remember that, Demo. So yeah, Tony. But Tony, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. And you know, I'm losing my train of thought here, people. The team, the focus. See, that's what I'm talking about, Demo. I call people idiot. I say that they say they talk. No, you call the person idiot. You know, thing about is Demo. Everything is recorded, Demo. The comments are recorded. The conversation are recorded. I can go back and point it out to you. But anyway, we digress. The focus is not on me and you. It's about the conversation here that we're having. It's very, very important, people, for a focus to be on Copa America and the squad. Right? It's very, very important. We can't just focus on. Here's the thing. Here's my view on this. And Tony and I support Arsenal. We always have discussion. We love Thomas Partey. But Thomas Partey is mainly not available. I think he's the second best, if not the best, central midfielder in the Premier League. And I'll get beaten by a lot of people who say that Rodri by far, Rice is better, whatever. I'm a Partey, disciple of Partey, believer. But he ain't available. So he may have to go. And I would just be like, okay, next up. Zubamende, is that the person? I hope he plays well. That's why I keep saying players need to take care of themselves, because I'm not focused on Thomas Partey, because he ain't helping me win. Right? I love the player when he plays for me, but when he moves on, I'll move on. So I'm saying about any player that plays for any team. But while you're in my team, I don't want you to disrespect my team. While you're in my team, you can't disrespect the administration. While you're in my team, you can't disrespect the coach. That's not okay. And that's why we have chaos in society when we disrespect our authority. That is not cool. Right? We have to respect our authority. And the coach has disappointed me so far in how we play. And he's disappointed me more recently in the situation that have manifested itself and how it's occurred. And it's not okay. So Devon, we'll get into some of that, the team and structure. I want to talk about the players individually, people. So let's take a step back and let's focus now on the team. We can't change what has happened, right? I wish Leon Bailey the best. People, nothing different, I know you're talking now. But the one thing I've done in my life, and my teams can tell you this, because I've managed a lot of teams and big teams, is this. I try my utmost to be fair. When people say things are equal, life is never equal. When you have two workers, one that produces for you, one doesn't, you're going to give more opportunities to the ones who produce, because sometimes it comes back to you, but it's also about what get the job done. So let's not talk about equality here, because equality doesn't work a lot of times. But fairness is important. You're trying to be as fair as possible, right? And so try to give opportunities. Sometimes it'll be based on people's skill set, because you don't want to put somebody in a position where they're going to fail. I try to be as fair as possible. So hear me talk about anybody, whether it's the player, the handlers. It's my perspective. But I wish them all the best. Even the people hear me talk about, I hope they change, and I hope they get better at what they do. And I hope they want to compromise. You hear me see the speed today. Don't compromise with that individual. You've all heard me tell the speed that he needs to learn how to compromise, to learn what he communicates, and it's going to be received. And if you hear me go out on a limb and say, this person, you can't reason with them, so left them alone, no deal with them. That's the extreme. I don't view life that way. That's when you realize, you know what? You have tried all means and manners of way of doing something. It now work. So move on, because you can't change the situation, right? That has to be a last resort. Because I believe we all in life need to negotiate and manage conflicts effectively, and we struggle with that. And sometimes education is part of that. But we got to be able to manage conflict. I see Tony in the chat. How much time Tony and I disagree about football when we on Arsenal 101, vehemently disagree. We never disrespect each other, because we respect each other's perspective and position. Even though we disagree, we always try to figure out why is that person at the position. And sometimes say, you know what? Totally not agree with you. Not agree with you, Tony. I'm saying, Kranky, I don't agree. Call me something else. I don't agree with you. And we can agree, and we agree to disagree. But one thing we don't do, we don't disrespect each other. And I've said this in this forum, we got to try to respect each other as much as possible. We'll get heated. We'll have difficult conversation. We'll be challenged sometime, but respect each other, because that's a key in terms of how human beings should engage and react. back to the football. I know me, I'll go over the place, go for a tangent and come back and bring it back to the football. So people, let's talk about the team now because we have gone through all the other drama. We're done with the drama now. Do we think this should be the team? Who should be here? Who is not here? Who should be here? Yes, Stefan, equity over equality. Totally agree with you, Stefan. Who should be here that's not here? Mr. Revolution, I don't agree with that because then we're going to penalize players who have nothing to do with the drama. Mr. Revolution. I understand the perspective, and frankly, it's easy to do that. But no, those players, if they're good enough, should be given an opportunity. You should just not deal with the people who they don't want to deal with you in the right way, right? That's the key thing. But no, young players deserve opportunities, even if they make bad decisions about who their handlers are. So Demo is saying John Russell. You know, Demo, I got some information way back when about John Russell. Because he played in Gold Cup. To some, he played well. He even scored in one of the games. I don't think there was positive perspective on the player and his ability when he played for the national team. That's all I'll say about that. So we as fans who are looking at this remotely may say, what has the player done not to be called back? But I think based on the system of play and how they play and all that, and the player's capability and what he can do, because he's a little bit slow. Let's be honest. He's big, he's tall, he's a little bit slow. I don't think they think he fits what they're trying to look for, as maybe a K-Roy does, is much more mobile. And so that's why he hasn't been called back. Rightly or wrongly, that's the situation. Now, Randy, I have no idea about Hutchinson, you know. So I have defended Hutchinson. I've defended his right. I'm still going to defend his right, but I will say this now with a little bit of caveat to it, which is this. I think Hutchinson is on the fence, and at some point he might come off of the fence because he might drop off. Or if we just drop him off of the fence. I would not pursue Hutchinson anymore. I would say, look, kid, you're young, you got to make a decision. Let us know if you're interested in going forward and move on. And what we got to do sometimes is this. Look, when you're in YouTube space, you want information to disseminate to people, to cascade out to people. It's very important, right? And you want relevant news. My nephew beat me up 24/7 about how I run my program. He think me not relevant enough. He think me think no spicy enough. He watch some other program and say, "You think look?" I said, "That's not me. I grew up in a professional environment. I have to operate a certain way. I don't want the drama thing. If the drama thing occurs, I'm not gonna run from it. But I know something want to work. I want me think to run a certain way." He totally disagree. He say, "You don't want views. You don't want likes. You don't want this." I said to him, "Say, we can't be monolithic about how we operate." And sometimes he's right about some of the things that I do, but he always thinks he's right, like I do. And so we battle, and I love him to death. But I can't do everything that he wants to do because I don't agree with him, and I don't want to follow certain trends. Coming up with even the trend them. People, 66 like, but 102 people. Hit the like button, people. I love you being here, by the way, and I love your input and your perspective. And people, the phone line open. So Jeremy, Vinsky, who I was a call, you can call now. And if you don't work tonight, you'll beat myself because I deserve to get beat. Come spend some time to them. I call the pod track people, them, the Zoom pod track, them walk me through it. It tried, it works. So if you not work tonight, it's about me and not them. I'm supposed to get it right. So call in if you choose to call in. But it's important. Dima said, coach saying, Roof says not ready. Yeah, Roof, Hutchinson. Look, there are other players, right? People have talked about Brandon Cover, Splat, young players, a lot of potential. We need midfielders. If you have 3 space in the team, why wouldn't you put those 3 players in your squad? Like, seriously. Rolanda Aarons, someone Ecorix member. I don't know what's happening to him. I'd heard that Max Aarons would be coming. Don't see it. Now, I think we got some perspective in discussion held earlier yesterday in one of those YouTube sessions that sometimes people, they're players of Jamaican heritage, except when their ancestors migrate from Jamaica to whatever destination they went to. They went under assumed names, right? And those assumed names is what they carry with them forever, frankly. But you can't take a assumed name and go register a Spanish town if a Spanish town is still there and try to get birth certificate and try to get citizenship. Guys, not going to work. They have to be able to check the records, verify the records that It is who your descendants or your ancestors are who they are. And frankly, they're having challenges with that for a number of people. And going to England in the 40s, people remember this, 40s, 50s, 60s. Enough people go up on boat or whatever amazing get there and they use their right name and right situation. So they become very difficult to trace them back, their lineage back, and be able to, I'm going to use my own term, authenticate them and provide them with the citizenship that they deserve based on their ancestry. So I would say for some of those players, it may be a lot of work to do so. I don't know which players those are. I just been given that intelligence, that information. That's part of the challenge and the reason as to why some of those players can't get having difficulty getting Jamaican citizenship. Sometimes it's just a player's procrastinating, right? Or sometimes a player's just like, you know what? I don't want to make the effort. I don't know Jamaica. I've never been there. My ancestors are from there, but I don't have the interest. We have to respect that. You guys said earlier, I put up this news item for the kid from Jamaica, the 16-year-old 400-meter runner, who is going to represent Jamaica at under 20. She ran 51.66, whatever the number is, in the 400 meters. Fastest ever by a U.S. sophomore. She's born in the U.S. She want to represent Jamaica. We love that because then no can complain about to the person is a reject. We love that. Brianna Williams did the same thing. We love that. So we should embrace somebody who's not born here, not want to play for us. Just like we embrace somebody coming in, we got to do the reverse. That's very important. People have to be objective and independent in our thought process. 1 or 2 people, 71 like. I love when the likes exceed the total number of people watching because then people will like the video. It go out, more people watch it. It's important to get views and get and get viewership. And people don't watch the program for just 10 seconds. Watch it look a bit longer, man, so we can build up my viewing hours. It's important. Yeah, help me. And hopefully I enjoy some of the conversation. People, the number on the screen across the stream is 347-728-8625. 347-728-8625. You can call into the program, man. We can have a conversation. Can I see that chat? Just a press button. And 347 number is WhatsApp, so you have no reason as to why you can't call it. Because it don't cost you nothing except time and energy, frankly. But in Hutchinson's case, actually, I wish the player well. Football Guru say Hagrimson is creating problem. We should be looking for someone to take over soon. I'll say it's about Hagrimson. Look, I sometimes empathize with coaches of different persuasion going to a country, trying to adapt to the culture, the way of doing business, the food, the climate, the environment. It must be tough for them and their families. Nobody give empathy and sympathy to coaches, you know. What do you think about it? It's like you go to a new country. You know, nothing about it. Your position of authority and the people that you deal with, both in administration and players, can be challenging, right? It's tough. So I don't think we should be, I don't want to beat him, even though I probably did it earlier, but some of his decisions are head scratching. Yeah, Demo, he may walk away soon. He may. I mean, who wants the headache that we provide to people? Because we are headache sometimes, you know. We headache for ourselves much as other people who are different, not used to this, don't want to be used to this. So you never know. I have a call here. It says Fort Lauderdale. Who am I speaking to?
Greetings, Kranky. How are you?
I'm doing well. Who am I speaking to?
Rick.
People, don't tell me. Can you guys hear Rick? Okay, if I can't hear him, I'll beat myself. Can you guys hear Rick in the audience? Let me know. Just press say yeah or nay if you can hear him. So Rick, what are you talking about, Rick?
First of all, let me say congrats on your program and keep up the good work. I've been watching you from Coaches Decks and the other forums that you've been on. So I'm happy that you started your channel and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it.
So having said that, Kranky, this coach, I mean, I know that you and me and other people beat this coach a lot, but he deserves it. I mean, his decision making not only on the field, but off the field as well has been poor. You know, for example, he suspended Bailey, right? And he made it clear that the player acknowledged that he did something wrong and apologized to the team. Then he went and basically begged the player to return before the Nations League semifinals. Things like those for me are no-no. And if you're a leader, and for example, how do you think the other players in the team view this coach? I don't think they view him with the highest of respect. I don't think so. What do you think?
I think it may be mixed. I think for some players, wait, let me say this: when you're a player, you get playing time. Sometimes you love your coach, no matter what he does, because you get playing time, right? Especially if you're not a guaranteed starter. But there may be some players who are senior, whose position are fixing the team, and who are exposed to professional environments, who may say, why we have different rules for different people? Why would a person not? And they may be from organizations where their authority matters and the authority exercises that authority. And they may look in and say, why would anyone do that? Why would you suspend somebody who have broken the rules? We all know the player has broken the rules. And then you're going to go back and, as you're saying, literally beg the player to come back when you've made your mind up to do so. And frankly, why are you begging the player to come back? Is it because of his on-field contribution or other things at work here? But so I don't disagree that decision that he made, I'm not sure why he makes it. And he's only exacerbating the situation with more recent decisions. Like losing 3 squad places, we can bring in other players. It's unbelievable, frankly.
Okay, so he made it clear that Andre Blake and Amari Bell are not fully fit. They're coming off injuries.
No, surgeries. Let's be careful.
Surgeries, right.
Yeah.
But yet they're in the team. And I'm like, if they can't play, if they're not fit, why are they in the squad?
Yeah.
So things like these, and I'm like, I've been saying it, I think this job is too big for him. I do think so. I'm not sure if it's shared opinion, but I think this job is too big for him.
I don't think the job is too big because he's taking Iceland to the Euro. What I think is that he's what I call he's a dated coach. He's a dated coach.
But Kranky, the whole Iceland thing, I'm not sure how much research you have done on that, but he was basically in charge of Iceland for like 2 years,
right?
For the most part, because Lars Lagerbäck was the guy who basically went to Iceland and kind of put a program in place. He kind of got them across the finish line, but for the most part, it was kind of like Lars' psychic, pretty much.
Okay.
So I don't know how much credit I will give him for the World Cup qualification. I mean,
yeah.
And then after the World Cup, I mean, he went to Qatar. They didn't improve the team there. Then they got rid of him. Then we got him. So I mean, and then again, I don't know how much research the JFF did on this coach, because honestly, if you know anything about football, I wouldn't have hired this coach, to be honest.
Well, look, I think he comes across as professional, which we need. We need some professionalism in the coaching ranking of the Jamaica national team, right? He comes across as professional, but he also has some things that he does, which you just scratch your head and say, this makes no sense to me. And his handling of this situation, look, it's always difficult to handle a situation with what I'm going to use in my own term, perceived star player. Not saying this player is a star player, a perceived star player. Right? That's the way I view it.
Right.
So if the person is always difficult in any team, you see the situation with Ten Hag and Rashford, or Ten Hag and Sancho. You see Aubameyang and Arteta. You have these in clubs all the time. Now you may get the management supporting you and say, you know what, Arteta, you can get rid of Aubameyang. We support you. That's a different footing you're on. But the question is, does the JFF support the coach to say with this player, or is it that the coach believe his success is dependent on the player, and so therefore he has to have the player in his team?
But I don't think his support of Leon Bailey is based on performance. It can't be, because you have seen the players' performances for Jamaica, and for the most part, they have not been good.
Right.
So it can't be based on performance. So, like you said, I'm wondering, it looks or it appears that there's something else at work here.
Yeah, so, I don't know what it is. Rudolph was Rudolph Speed was on another channel today, coach's desk. Shouldn't say another channel. He's on coach's desk, and I was on for a little bit with them. And he seemed to indicate that the coach makes the decision about who is in his squad and who is in his team. That's contractual. So therefore, there should be no one blaming the JFF for who's in the squad or who's in the team, because what he's saying is contractually, that's agreed with the coach. So if you give me something, and Rudolph and others are always talking about contract, and you hear Dennis Strong say contract. If you tell me I own this, then I own this. Now, I would say if they write the contract that way without having some kind of caveat in there, some stipulation that talks about some players, given the nature of their behavior, should not be considered, then that would be on their part not to do so, because they should have that. Because if someone's going to be detrimental to your program, they shouldn't be considered whether the coach wants them or not.
But those things, you don't want to put too many things around them because then you have a lot of restrictions and it may be personal between administration and player. You got to be careful with that. But there should be some kind of carve out there. But he's saying the coach owns this.
I don't know. I don't know how much credence I give to what Speed says, but I mean, honestly, I don't believe that. I believe that there are people within the administration who, from time to time, interferes with the team,
right?
Based on certain things that we have seen on playouts. So I don't think that Hargreaves has full control over the team.
Yeah, but I haven't heard. I think not. I thought he has said that actually. Hasn't he said that? I think he has said that actually, that he has full control. Now, whether he's being political in saying that or not, I don't know. But I think he has actually expressed that view. And if that's the case, then the situation with Bailey sits with him, not with anybody else. Right?
And and lastly, I think it's time to just move on from this player. I mean, it's one thing. I mean, and I understand that players, both male and female, have had issues with this administration. To be honest, they're not the most professional federation. I understand that. Having said that, this player and the people around him are just not good for the football. They're more for distraction than an asset. And I hope the GFF realizes that and just cut their losses and move on. Honestly, I think it's time.
Yeah, and look, I think more and more people are leaning that way. I said today on Minge's channel that I think the player, when he looks back on his career after it's all done, will realize he made missteps and will regret some of the decisions he has made and will regret his handler's influence over him, because you've seen it in the past with players like Benzema, or maybe less so for Cantona, who probably didn't care, but like Benzema, and some other players you've seen in teams that have done well. Benzema doesn't have a World Cup. Giroud have a World Cup. He said Giroud can't walk in his shadow, but you know what? Giroud is the one who have the scoring title. You have the scoring for France. He has the World Cup. Benzema has none of that, except a bunch of goals for Real Madrid and some Champions League, right? So it does talk to the fact that when you look back on your career, those are things you value and you will not have it. With this player, if we get to the World Cup, he's not there. He'll regret it. He'll regret not only his performance for the national team or lack thereof, but some of the drama surrounding this, which is not warranted.
Yeah, and it's not worth it. I mean, and for a player who, like I said, is more for distraction than an asset, he's not performing and it comes with baggage. It's just not worth it. It's not.
Yeah.
So at some point you have to say, listen, you've tried, it hasn't worked out, let's move on. Let's part ways. In life, with a work, with a personal life, that happens all the time. It's not working out, you've tried, let's part ways.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, actually. Look, I've said this before, and I say it numerous times, so I keep repeating myself, which is not a good thing, but that when I look at the player's stats, the player's contribution on the field, defensively, offensively, set pieces, the number of misses that he has, I can live with the player not being in the squad. Right? Because I focus on contribution to the team in its totality. I can live with the player saying, you know what, I'm not coming. I'm like, okay. Cephas, get your game together. Bobby Reed, get your games together. Oh, Gray, you're not injured, get your game together. We have adequate replacement because his production is not better than any of those players. So why am I stressing? When the coach don't tell me he can waste 3 spaces in the team, why am I stressing? I'm not stressing.
And people give Boza a hard time. But guess what? If we're looking at results, if Boza wasn't to the team, we would have qualified for Copa America or the Nations League semifinals. And people give him a hard time. I'm like, why? Yes, he misses chances, but guess what, Kranky? Every forward, even elite players, miss sitters, miss chances. It happens. It's football.
Yes.
Sometimes I wonder if Jamaican people understand the game or they just talk of emotions.
Well, no, here's the thing. We beat all players who miss a lot of chances, right? We did that with Nunez at Liverpool, and I'm sure Dima is going to give me a hard time because I like Nunez as a player. We do that with Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal, who we say can't score goals. You want to play center midfield, instead of go play center forward. We do it with a lot of players. But I'll say this, you're right. Shamar does turn up. Shamar didn't score in the Gold Cup, I don't think, but if he scored, maybe it's 1 goal. I can't recall. But I know Antonio didn't score.
No.
And Antonio didn't score either. And I give Antonio and Shamar a hard time. And I've said this, and I've been chastised by some people, and rightly so, by the way. So I'll take my beating, but I still believe in what I'm saying. That, you know what? If those two are not producing, I'm going to give Kaim Dixon a chance. Because even though Dixon makes a ton of goals against Dominica, I see the raw material to work with. And I say the raw material sometimes is better than what my more established players have in their locker. Because you can't teach certain things in football. You can teach certain things you can't teach. Or certain things you learn on the playground and go effect it on the football field. And when my forward can dismiss defender, when my forward can run off defender, when my forward can put in hard work, and sometimes my other forwards don't do it as consistently as they should, I will take that forward in my team. Right?
I mean, he's a young kid. Like I said, he has all the raw ingredients. He just needs to work on the finishing. Once he works on the finishing, he'll be a dangerous player, man. I tell you, he's very talented. I like him.
Yeah, no, he is, and I hope he continues to get opportunities. And those of you people who like to beat me and talk about Kranky, one of foreign players in our team, one pure overseas players. I keep telling people, I am those people who are agnostic to those things. I am a slave for success. I'm a slave for positive outcome. All I want to do is win. Me not care where you come from. You could have come from Mars. If you can help my team win, I support you. So long as you qualify to play for the country and get my team win, I support you. So if you play for Arnett, Mount Pleasant, Cavaliers, and you're good enough, you have to be in the squad. I'm not one of the people saying, well, we have 6 or 8 local players in the squad. How can that be good? If the coach thinks they're good enough and they're the best players that we have and they're proving it and they have the potential and the quality, then they should play. I don't care if you play for Manchester United and the coach say, you know what, this person is better, and I can see that you're better. I'm going to say you should play. So when I get beaten about Dixon, I'm smiling saying, I think I'll be proven right in time, but time is not on my side because Copa is here.
I mean, he's a young kid, man. He's 19 years old. So, yeah. I mean, I heard he's going to Europe, which is good. So hopefully he goes into an environment where they'll work with him and, really sharpen his weaknesses and get him, and make him into a good player. Because I think if he really gets a proper development, he'll be a world-class player. I think so, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks, Kranky. I'll keep listening. And again, keep up the good work.
All right. Appreciate the call. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. Peace.
People, 79 likes, 107 people. I don't know me to feel big I'm now, but not. Me a big I'm now getting a response. Thanks, caller. But I don't understand. I understand at all. But at some point, hopefully, you can hit the like button. As you come in, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, people subscribe. I was trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this week, but it didn't work. Today, I'm the last show for the week, I think. I'm only there 6 something. So I'm now subscribe, I'm now hit like button, I'm now hit notification bell. I don't know if you do. Me exhausted, I beg. And I beg so much in my life. Chris is saying, Kranky, we see many players get pushed in the team. Where are they now? Kranky a couple of years ago, it was Jimenez and Pearson. Where are they now? Look, great shout out, Chris. Don't disagree with that perspective. We sometimes overrate players, but I do think Dixon's a little bit different. I think Dixon and Whisper are a little bit different, actually. And Whisper is showing in Chelsea 21 that he has ability. And I think Dixon will show that he has ability also. Is he at this level? We're yet to find out. Dominica was not the best way to show that. But I thought he did well against the US, actually. But yes, his shot wasn't the greatest, actually. And I remember that shot. But the fact that he missed a bunch of goals, what I took out of that is he's getting in position to score goals. And let's think about this. If I'm playing center forward with somebody else and I get 5 chances and I get none, why is that? Is it because I was just lucky? Or is it my movement that allowed me to get those opportunities? The ball he got from Cephas, he forced Cephas to gain the ball. Because when he ran after the defender, he was wide open. And we know Cephas not pass. Sorry, Cephas, me have to call you out. We know Cephas play like Martinelli. He might look for change on the ground. He can't see nothing but in front of him. He know I'm pass the ball. Cephas, you have to do me like a game Cephas, you have to pass the ball. And in those situations, he forced Cephas to get the ball because of his movement. And he created a goal by dismissing his defender. But we also know the header he missed. And we also know the 2 he missed from the right. But I like his game. I can't just criticize. I think I like his game quite a bit. It's important for us to support those kids, especially the younger ones. And Chris is not wrong in saying, look, we sometimes build up some of these kids and they don't produce, but that's no different from our track and field athletes. We got champs and some kids run 10 flat and 10-1, and we're like, yes, they're a big star, and then them level out because them peak early, right? And sometimes the level of competition sort of camouflage some of the weaknesses. And if the competition was stiffer, and that's why we got to get our kids to play against the best competition, so we can truly get a good chance to assess their ability. Dean Tomlinson saying Jamaica needs to step away from Butler and his boys. I shouldn't read the name now. Because I'm not mention the person name. I go against one thing. I should read the comment, but not the name. You mean to tell me we have one to replace them? How good was Bailey in any of his match? Did well in them? Time to move on. I don't disagree. Who is this calling? It says Ricketts. I'm not sure. The president. Bless up. Good night. Or good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Good evening.
Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Icorig.
Say it again, please.
Icorig.
Icorig, how are you doing?
About you?
I'm good. You play on your last name because it says Ricketts here, so Icorig. All right, I like the name. How are you doing? What you have? What you have to say? What do you have to say?
Well, to be honest, it's just that every manager, I believe, have that player or players that they believe in their ability, and I see we're growing. Believe in Leon's ability. Like I remember Paul said he wanted to build a team around Leon Bailey. So there's obviously they recognize something in the player, but for some reason I want every player recognize it in himself. Copa America is indeed something that is big for the country. I think he should have just showed up, but to each his own. At some point, he will regret it because this isn't. I don't think this is his decision.
What do you mean? The decision to put the player in the squad initially? You don't think it's Grimo's decision?
No, the players.
Oh, the players' decision. Yeah. Okay. Well, I agree with that actually. But go ahead. I agree with that.
The players withdrawal from the squad. No, which player? Because look how many players. Look how many professional footballers are playing in the Copa America. Why wouldn't you want to be there? I don't see the logic behind it. I don't. So it's not the players' decision. It was just suggested by whomever. We all know.
Right.
And I look at it and I'm saying, that particular person's decisions are affecting a lot of players because, frankly, we are going to school. There's a particular classmate, our schoolmate of mine, that was a part of that academy, and he's now in college with me because, let me say, of how unfairly he was treated. And that player used to travel with the team to Aston Villa and so forth on their tours. And that player used to play for Mona, Jonathan Garden, And he said he was denied the opportunity to go to certain trials, club-wise, because of bias or whatever it is. And I can see where, because I do believe, the managers' decisions are questionable and it is affecting a lot of young talents. It's just what him say goes. But this doesn't paint a good picture any at all, and then he cannot be replaced.
Well, I think it is the coach owns that. Well, the coach basically said, I have 3 spots to waste, so I can put anybody in that 3 spot. That's the way I view it. I have 3 spots to waste. I don't really care about those 3 spots because most players won't play anyway who are in the squad. So they can waste those 3 spots, which is the word is coming to me and I want to use it, but it doesn't make any sense.
Well, to be frank, I expect 3-4. No, I wouldn't say a 3-4-2 because he won't play that 5-3-2 or 4-4-2.
Yeah.
No. And I see a lot of centre backs, so I would assume that he's gonna play with 3 at the back. I guess, and because it's mean the centre forwards we have it, to be honest. Looking forward to it still. I think we can come out of the group.
You think so?
I think we can.
So which team in the group are we better than? The last time we played Mexico, they ran us off the park. Do you think Mexico is better than Ecuador? And do you think we're better than Venezuela, who drew with Brazil in Brazil?
I'm just being positive.
Okay. Well, it's good to be positive. Actually, don't be half glass half full like me. It's good to be positive.
No.
It's good to be
Yeah,
positive.
man, I'm just being positive.
Look, I love the positivity. It's important to be positive because, boy, if we look at this objectively, we may not be that happy. So it's good to be positive.
Yeah. I looked at it both ways, but I'm just going to be positive. Benefit of the dope sort of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, man.
Well, I appreciate the
I think
call.
other players out there.
Yeah. No. There are players up. Look, we'll see what happens as we progress. After COPA, I think it's like another year before World Cup qualifiers. We need to bring in some more players in the squad. We need to have competition for places, especially in the midfield and on the forward line. We just need to improve that, right? I think defensively, we're in a good spot. Maybe you have another right back, but I think Lati is versatile to play both. So I like my defense, but my defense is also getting old. You don't realize that.
Yes.
And getting old quickly. When you pass 30 in football, even though people have gotten better with nutrition and their workout schedule and how they operate and their lifestyle, it's still a task to play at the level where 21 and 22-year-olds are running around you. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right. Man.
Yeah, all the best. Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling. I appreciate the call. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
All right. Bless up. I think someone was calling me from a 704 number. I'm going to call them back if I can find a number. Where is it? I'm not seeing it now. They'll call back. If you're calling me from a 704 number, I didn't know the person was. But you can call back because you called while I was in the middle of a conversation. But just looking at some of the comments here. Algrimson, he's a joke. Coach, when he came, he said he wants to learn culture. It was a joke. All right. I have a call here. It says New York. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
What's up, Kranky? It's Kyle.
Kyle, I haven't heard that voice in a while.
How you doing, man? Congrats. Good to see you on the big screen.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. I hope you hit the like button and you subscribe and you hit the notification bell. Have you done all of that, Kyle? It's very important.
I've been watching from day one, man. Come on.
All right, I appreciate it. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents to this Leon Bailey issue. I just heard the other caller saying that he doesn't believe that decision wasn't the player's choice. That it was somebody else.
Right.
Which to me it's getting ridiculous. How old is Leon Bailey? 24, 25?
I think it's about 27 actually.
Okay.
I don't think it's 24, 25 anymore.
The man's a grown man. He has a driver's license. He probably has a house. He has assets in his name. He's grown enough to make decisions and choices on his own, and he's grown enough to deal with the consequences. It's time for us to stop saying that, he's doing things because of Mr. Butler. The man is a grown man. So if he's doing something because of Mr. Butler, then he knows the damage that it's causing. To me, right now, we are in World Cup campaign mode. This COPA tournament is to fine-tune the team for the long-term campaign. The coach needs to know what he's working with, what he can build on, what he can dismiss, what he can mix, what he can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't need this toxic distraction with this Butler Bailey foolishness no more. It's time for us to move beyond toxicity. And if it means to say, call out Bailey's card and say, listen, you either come when we call you or you don't, and that's it. And that goes for every player, not just him.
Yeah.
Because right now we're in campaign mode. Come when we say for come, or no bother come. This is bigger than you. So I'm not buying it no more. I'm not buying it no more. So that's how I see it. And I believe that we'll get out of the group in COPA.
Yeah, I mean that you know how we are, Carl. We're very optimistic. Kyle, I'm sorry. We are very optimistic, Reggae Boys. I call you dad. I'm calling you dad. I'm calling you your dad. I call you your dad. We are very optimistic when it comes to the Reggae Boys, right? Even if sometimes we know it's gonna be tough, we're still looking forward to them doing well. We do support them. We want them to do well. So, look, we'd love to come out the group. I think it's gonna be a very tough group. Here's the problem, Kyle, and I keep saying this to people and they don't get what I'm trying to get to, which is this. These are all ball possession teams, right? So and it's a little bit difficult when they're ball possession teams and they play well defensively. We struggle with Mexico all the time. Now, we give them a hard time in their own house sometimes, but last time we played them, when we were really rolling, it didn't work out well for us, right? Well, the second to last time, I shouldn't say the last time. So it may be tough for us when everybody's at full strength. And you see the last couple of games they played against some very good team, they look like a decent team. So, and we haven't looked that decent more recently. But as people will say, we have some more players coming in, Ethan Pinnock of the world. And so let's hope that they come in ready. They have all that long season. But Ethan and Anton and Mikel have been hurt quite a bit. So they should be, to me, at least relatively fresh. Gray has been hurt also. So those players who have been hurt, hopefully they're fully recovered and they're relatively fresh, actually, and can play at their optimum during the tournament.
Yeah, I think that the players will be up to it, seeing that they're in basically a quality tournament facing some big name stars. And I'm pretty sure that, these players want to prove themselves.
Right.
To rub shoulders against some of the big boys of COPA.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Kyle, I say this, sorry to cut you. I am shocked that any player who played for the national team, playing in the I shouldn't say the most, because World Cup qualifiers are the most, one of the most important tournament where somebody very competitive would not want to play. Now, another player going to be playing Champions League next year, so you could say, you know what, I'm playing football at a higher level. But Copa America, where the messes of the world are playing, and all these other big name players are playing from Brazil and Argentina and Ecuador, I want to be there. I'm a player. I'm biting off your hand to be there. So I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest.
I think shock is an understatement.
Yeah.
There must be something going on mentally up there for you to basically turn around that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, something is going on, man. And I'm not making no excuses for nobody.
Right.
You're a grown man. You know the consequences of your action. You need to deal with it and own it. I'm not with this foolishness no more about butts like this, but no. Really, you need to deal with what you're dealing with.
So here's a scenario to Kyle. So Kyle gets along brilliant with his father. Kyle supports his father. Kyle's father has a view about something which doesn't align with, say, the national interest in some respects, or in their view. Well, Kyle, isn't family stronger than the strongest bond out there? And therefore, I'm going to align with my father, even I may not totally agree, or may agree with my father, and that's why I do what I do. Right?
Oh, listen.
Blood thicker than water, Kyle. Blood thicker than water.
No, but you're leaving out one variable. Is Kyle an adult or is Kyle a child?
Well, it's hard to cut that string sometime, because if somebody...
No. Hold on. Kranky, Kyle as a child compared to Kyle as a adult is two different persons. When my father tell me what to do as a child, I don't question him.
Right.
But as an adult, I have my own brain. I said, Dad, I don't agree with what you're saying. Even, with the whole politics of the GFF, I'm like, listen, still to that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to draw your line because the consequences are going to come back at you. He has to answer for his own actions as an adult. So do I.
Right.
I can't tell people so well, my father said, and I'm a grown man. No, there's a way how you move that respects him as a father and to also respect yourself. You can move in silence. Do what you have to do, move in silence, and let him keep saying what he wants to say, although you disagree with him, but your actions speak louder than his words.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I don't give Bailey no cover no more. It's done for me because this is the campaign right now. So that's where I am.
All right, Kyle. I appreciate the call.
All right, man. So
thanks.
Keep up the good program, bro. I'm listening.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Appreciate the call.
All right,
thanks.
Right.
Hey, Dima is my comment about same blood in this case. I know they're not the same blood, but sometimes the not the same blood doesn't deter from the fact that the person is the person's guardian or parent, right? You hear Shaq talk about his Jamaican father. It wasn't his real father, but that was his father. So they may not be the same blood literally, but they are basically the same blood in a sense in terms of how they operate, right? They're family, and they're going to operate as a family. And they don't make decisions independently, it doesn't seem. You see, like the family make decisions, because I think Whispers made some of those same decisions, but his decision has been camouflaged under the concept to me, or the view of, I'm injured, or Chelsea called me, or there's always something. It's not by chance that a lot of times when it comes to some of those players in that environment, something always come up as to why they can't take a call or something. And then we get complaints about, well, my players don't get called, and my players are being left out, because the person who owns the organization is toxic. And nobody want to deal with toxic people. People run away from toxic people. Who wants that burden and that stress and that situation? So, when you're toxic, I try to stay away from toxic people. It's not good for your health. And here's another thing, people who doesn't want to make excuse for the player. When the player had his first interview, and he said Jamaica team can't do nothing for him. And he was also asked a question about Aston Villa and top six, and he said he could have won play for top 16. He said Villa people that start front of them players, the player run go apologize. As a player apologize to Jamaica? He might apologize. No. He might apologize to him teammate them, but who come into him make? That means no matter. So when they defend the player, and if you go looking at the mirror and realize a bias or no bias too, those who defend the player. You can't defend certain things in life. They're not defensible. They're just not. And I beating up, you can't defend certain things. If you find it, well, you're not even saying nothing too derogatory about Villa, and you run go Villa, and you tell me, say, applies to Jamaica, what you mean to say, then it makes sense to me. Bless up. Good evening.
Good evening, boss.
Who am I? Who am I? We know what I'm talking about. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Dima Dre.
No, I thought this was Nunez. How you doing, Nunez? Good evening. How you doing, Nunez? Good evening.
First of all, Nunez don't speak English, boss.
in speak English, he probably pretending to speak English. Be sure he speaks some English. So what are you saying this, Dima? What camp are you in, Dima? Where are you on this whole thing?
All right. So I've been on so many programs trying to give my view. I've been on Facebook, listening to radio, all of these things. So here's my thing. I was saying initially that I disagreed with people who were saying why Grimm put Leon Bailey in the squad. Right? It's like we hear the whole conversations, everybody hear the interviews from everybody, right? And so for me, I agree with the initial link. Like Grimm shouldn't call him none at all. Like the initial link for try and get him in there, like you shouldn't approach him to bring him back. So some beat him for that. Like you take a small knock for that. But when everybody has said the part to put him in the squad, I thought that he got the green light from all the conversations that were had. So it's like him get the green light from Chong and whatever that him talk to him talk to Butler, and everybody get the green light. So him could have had him to the squad. Right? And so for me, I think people should have beat him for that, because he thought that he had the green light. Him talk to the player, Chong talk to Butler talk, whatever. And he thought he had the green light. He had a certain window where he have to put him in, or else he won't be there at all, and so him decides to go ahead and put it. And so I say like, I think we can beat him for that, because he thought he had the green light given the situations and the conversations that were had. So while I agree, say initially you shouldn't beat him, like you shouldn't engage with him and try to get him back because he said he didn't want to come and play. I beat him for that. But you can't beat him for thinking he had the green light and adding him to the squad. That was my initial take of everything.
Yeah, so here's my view on that, Dima, which is this. Normally what you hear is, and you and I follow a lot of English football, right? So that's our knowledge that we can utilize. You did Southgate say, I talked to the players who were in my squad. I also talked to those who were on the cusp of the squad and they didn't get in, right? Sterling, Rashford, all those players, right? It's talk to them. So he would have, and he talked to Ben White who said, I don't want to be in the squad. There's no ambiguity with that. You never hear them come out and say, you know what? This person in the squad, but he don't want to play it. Right? You never hear that because the conversation is had up front. There's an agreement made, whether in writing or verbally, and everybody's on the same page. I think here there's miscommunication someplace, and I don't know where it is, but the JFF seems to say Grimo pick his team. We have nothing to do with this. Will Grimo tell us he wants in the squad? Because we have a pool of players. That's who we put in the squad. That's what I'm getting. So if that's the case, did Grimo speak to the player or the player's handlers? It should be the player. It should be no player's handler. You speak to the player. What did the player say? That's
but from the interview this morning, he said he was on the phone with him for 2 hours or something like that.
Okay. And the player said, but why the player would come out immediately after squad announcement and says misinformation?
Listen, I don't. I have my own theory on this, because I'm telling you, I was watching. Obviously, I don't know if you call people name on your platform or whatever. I don't know how it works, right? But I was watching another show when all of this thing went down, right? And everybody, the thing was there. Everybody was excited when Bailey named upon the thing. Everybody excited, and a man called Butler, right? The host called Butler. And like, yo, make we know what's happening. Like, the big news is Bailey's in the squad. Like, make we know what's happening. And Butler is like, oh, what? He didn't know he was live, So him say, what? No, but they jumped the gun. He's not going to be a part of the squad. And then the host was like, what do you mean? He's like, no. He's not going to be a part of the squad. They jumped the gun. And he said, but don't say that out, make people hear loud. But he did not know that he wasn't live, that he was live. Okay. And so a whole big controversy going, Butler break that, and all of a sudden, and then, me see, like, the host that try to do damage control and all of that stuff for try, really in back way, we already said, but obviously you can't like, there was like 900 people watching the show. So you can't really take it back. And then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, me see Bailey put up the thing on him Instagram, boat, whatever. So I don't know. My theory is Butler shouty. I don't know. Something just go down in a something. So initially I was thinking that Bailey was going to play, and then something happened with him handler, and him call him and them talk about something, and then the Instagram post come out.
So if you were the coach Hagrimson going forward, what would you do?
No, I'm done. Like, I am over this Bailey thing. If like, I heard the interview that you played, I had it earlier, and I listened to it, and just him facial expressions when he deal with it, when he said that that's it for me. That you like, him literally seem like he's done. Let's focus on the players who actually want to play for Jamaica, and forget about this. Like, him seem like he's done with this, and that's why I'm saying earlier, I think he'll walk. Like, all of this like initially, and that's why I have a problem with people sometimes in a Kranky. It's like they're saying that the coach is weak and all of this stuff. And for me, the coach has shown on countless occasions that he's not weak, and him really have his own mind. Because when he came here, if you remember, JFF did take Andre Blake out of the team. Yeah. And he came and he put his foot down and he said, what? No, that's my captain, that's my best goalkeeper, put him back in the team.
Good reminder, Dima. That's a good reminder, Dima, frankly. It's a good reminder.
Yeah. Like, as soon as him come, him stamp him authority as the coach, and him say, yo, put him back. I don't know what issues they have. And it seems like, say, ever since he came, I just drama. Like, I don't understand. And so for me, it's like, I don't think he expected all of this stuff.
So, Dima, can you imagine what Paul Hall and Tafa want to deal with? Because so we have something to give more respect to foreign coaches, right? We do. Can you imagine what poor Tapa? No, we should have some empathy and sympathy for Tapa. I have to deal with, and Paul have to deal with, because familiarity breeds contempt, right? Interesting, really
exactly.
interesting.
And just his tone alone when him there address the issue, it just seemed like he's done. Like, you can't see the man like him at age quicker. I deal with all of this drama mix up, and the man was such a happy-go-lucky guy from the management interview. The management interview to know. It's like him at age faster. And I just have a feeling that he might get fed up of this and just cause this probably is the last straw. Because when we hear him say, let's just focus on who wants to play for the country, and move on.
Well,
Like,
I think here's a coach, right? He probably came in with certain players in mind who would have in the team. He probably looked at the number of players who have Jamaican ancestry in the UK. He looked at some of the local players who he probably respect their ability and said, you know what? I can do something with this team. I can get them to the World Cup. And then he has to go. Then he probably didn't look at the drama surrounding the country because it can derail anything, frankly.
Because I hear him on a different interview. I think before the World Cup, the World Cup qualifier started, he was saying like he has a database of over 250 players, and it's very hard to go through all of these players that were suggested in terms of whatever and try to fit in everybody to form a core. And then it's like each time he must try build a team and get everybody to gel together, because sometimes some players are gonna come. Sometimes this man, there's just a lot of things to deal with so many players in the database that he has, and he might try integrate the when him do the local squads in a Jamaica to see what them have to offer. And I think he's just trying to please everybody, and it just not gonna work. Like, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, as you know, you can't please everybody, right? You got to make some tough decisions, and he needs to make some of those tough decisions. And we are right about, the players' availability sometimes is a challenge, especially those who are in the UK. And I understand some of the constraints that they have, family situation and all that. But people have to make their best efforts to be part of the program, because it does create some dissension in the fans and also in some of the players in terms of availability. And this is one we're talking about now. But this is a longer thing, because people feel there's a history here, people. And let's not forget our history. Before the player played for Jamaica, there was history. With this person who managed a player wanted their son to be in the team with the player and create a sort of drama and talk about the player going to play for England. I remember this from way back when, the player can play for England and he should be considered playing for England. The player was in Germany then. All this drama was occurring, and the drama hasn't stopped. At some point, you got to cut off the drama.
Yeah.
Cut off the drama.
The man, he's just so toxic. Like, listen to me. Me personally, I have many different fights with Craig Butler personally. Like, I literally have him file, right? Like, I can send that man to jail if more, but I'm not getting into all of that stuff, right? But ever since this thing came up, in my whole Jamaica ransom, like, oh, if Kyle Butler not play, we're not gonna get Leon Bailey. Like, what, bro? What? Like, what? Like, these things, he has always been making demands for have Leon Bailey in the team. Like, it just not add up to me. I would just need to probably just cut ties with him, let him do him thing over there, so, and we do a thing over here, so.
But he has his supporters. Because here's what happened: when people start to see some element of success around somebody, they gravitate towards it, and rightly so, because we like success. But if you realize that success is also affixed with toxicity, then you probably can think about moving away from it, because it's not worth it.
Exactly. I agree. So, and the final thing I'm going to say is, like, you beat the coach for the spots and adding injured players. But Kranky, honestly, like, coaches do this all the time. This is like,
no, but Dima, I'm gonna take you on that Dima. You know this Dima. I use Southgate as an example with Maguire, right? As an example. That why not bring Reed and others just to get the experience at Copa? The players them not gonna play, Bailey not gonna come. So we have a spot. You waste a spot, Somebody would not be there. You waste a spot.
Like Latibodir was one as well. That's just coming back from injury, and he said he spoke to him and he feels like he's going to be ready in time for play.
But Lati didn't have a surgery, right? I mean, Blake has surgery and Amari has surgery, right? Lati didn't have surgery. So.
And Blake, he said, as a captain, he wants him around the team and him put him in a spot, and who knows, he might be ready. And so, but I'm saying, even on Jason Guna's show today, he was going through the Euro squads, and a number of the teams have 3 or 4 injured players who think that they'll be ready for the World Cup. The coach picked them and think that they'll be ready for the Euros. So, I mean, people do it in hopes that they'll be ready. And the coach said that, he's thinking that these guys who can go far in the tournament and they'll be ready by the third hour going.
Dima, straight about it, you laugh, Dima. You see, Dima? See, you answer yourself by laughing when you finish it. You laugh, you finish it, Dima. You can't laugh when you finish, Dima. You can't have this team and then you laugh and say, you know what? That man, I want joker. That's a me here, with the laugh,
As a coach, you have to believe that you can go far.
So by your logic, Demon, that means a Bailey will turn up then. Later, and I told him, we're second round.
Not really. whole Bailey thing was a mistake, and you can't change it. What I'm saying, the injury players, the Bill and the Blake, like they believe that they can be ready sometime down in the tournament.
Okay. Well, look, let's hope we make second round, and let's hope they're available. Look, I love Blake in my team any day because Blake is an exceptional goalkeeper. But if you have had knee surgery, and now Barrett Bell surgery was serious in terms of, I think he had hamstring or something like that, then I'd be reluctant to take them just because of that. And I would think about, do I have good cover? I heard so many names were coming in, or so many people were in Jamaica looking for papers, and then all of a sudden, the information dissipated. You know, you're nothing. It goes silent.
Yeah, as I go though, Kranky, I just want to ask you, out of the goalkeepers that's there, would you go Connor Boyce Clark or any other?
I think Jamal Wade is the best of the three in terms of keeping, actually. I think Connor Boyce Clark is brilliant with his feet. I think he's brilliant with his feet. I'm not sure about his shot stopping. He's as good as the other two.
So even after you see Jamal Wade in a Dominica game, it's still...
I know people are blame Wade for them goal there. First of all,
no, not the free kick, you know.
Yeah, but why nobody not chastise King? Well, let me look at man that get behind you, Dima. Look at man that get behind you, Dima. Dima, you tell me that, Dima. What blame the goalkeeper when you play deep as a centre half and the man still run behind you? And yes, sometimes goalkeeper make poor judgment. We see it all the time. Allison, my keeper, make enough of them when he first joined me. In terms of when do I go and when do I stay? But I don't think you can question Jamal Wade's shot stopping. I've watched him. He's a good shot stopper. And he's better with his feet than Blake, even though Blake overall is a better keeper.
So when is Connor Boyce Clark going to play for Jamaica? Like when am I gonna get that?
Why is that great? You know what? You're right. So Dima, good question, Dima. I don't know, Dima.
Blake gonna come back and then he's just going to be there.
You know the thing, Dima. Goalkeepers don't get older now. They never get older now. They play them at 40, 41. So Connor, you better go play for your big side. But think about it, Dima. Let's just digress a little bit. Edison has been at Man City, the best team in the world. I keep brilliantly in can't get in a Brazil team over Allison, right? It happened. That's a goalkeeper. Then Edison go play out. Can play out better than some play them. Go play out. Only remember get Gio. All right, Dima. Bless up. Thanks for calling. All right, sir. Cool. Someone was calling a while ago. Please call. Love the conversation. Love the phone calls. Let me just some of these comments. Ricardo is saying, Kranky, be curious to know how Southgate is engaging English players. Let's go to the agents. Ricardo, the engagement model is totally different. You never hear Southgate saying Carl agent. Him saying Carl Raheem. Him saying Carl Rashford. Him saying speak to the player and they're disappointed. You know, say the agent said them disappointed. The player tell the agent disappointed. There's a direct engagement. Nobody deals with employees or with players just through them agent most times. You want to talk to the player. You want the player's view, the player's perspective, how they're feeling, how they view it. You don't want to go talk to some third party or second party in the equation because then you don't get the player's reaction, right? You want to talk to the players who in the squad to how good they feel. The ones who are not in the squad, you want to talk to them to make them know why they're not in the squad. You don't want to make it some second-hand conversation because that's deemed to be inappropriate. You hear me when I used to argue with Dennis Chung about engagement with the girl when you're talking about email, and I'm like, people don't do the email thing, Dennis. People want to be engaged directly. Email is informal. It's not formal. If you want to talk to me, I feel good to have the conversation with you directly, not indirectly. People, 106 light, 145 people, that cannot be okay. If I do my math right, it's not good. It's just over 60%. Not good. So people are maybe 68, 69, whatever the percentage is, please hit the like button while you're in. If you have not subscribed and you like the conversation, please do so. If you don't like it, just subscribe and close your eyes. See? But subscribe because we need the subscribers and we also need to like them. Okay, when you like it, other people watch it. That's what I've been told is the YouTube's algorithm that there's all these calculations behind the scenes, in the back, in the dark, like it's a black hole, and then put out these things and allow other people to watch it. I don't know what the calculation entails, but I would love if you hit the like button while you're here so the numbers can go up and more people watch a video. All right? A good thing to allow the program to grow. But most important thing is, I appreciate you being here. Mr. Ty, how are you doing?
I'm Kranky.
Why you things are Ty? Why you things are Ty?
Yeah.
No military good enough to say, me what change it? Me do something wrong by my phone. I said Ty. All right, your phone, I said Ty.
No, man, on my phone, I said, Ty is Tyrese. That's my son. We just put him there.
So you hide behind your son. So when people get out and you hide behind your son, that they do?
No, man, then, this is Spiner, a.k.a. Gunners Bar. Tyrese is my son. One of my favorite of my 5 children. Some people say them love all 5 of them kids equally. Not go so. One of my favorite. I'm a general.
But you can't tell the one of no favorite said no favorite Gunners Bar. How that work?
You know, tell them, but we can't talk. And then if they want to hear them here, we never call none of them names who want to pick it up.
Because the kid, where you put that can of Gunners Bar, them come support you in the Gunners. And if you favorite them support you, you know. When you can't walk and I don't favorite them support you Gunners. Remember that?
I don't put none in that corner, brother. One of them there on Front Street, but I say I one of my favorite kids out of my 5 there. DJ Worm, I one of my favorite too. So 5 me have I say the same thing about all 5 of them when they talking in the public. You understand? I want me to talk about right now. Anyway, Kranky, what go
on? I am here having discussion about most of it about by the way, Gunners Boss, somebody give you credit there, I didn't ever say this. Someone was saying Gunners Boss is very versed in his knowledge on various subjects, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves because if I know a person like Gunners Boss talking hockey, then I have to back up. I'm not talk hockey, I'm not watch hockey. Talk hockey, he talks NFL football, he talk basketball, he talk college football, he talk Reggae Boyz, he talk nothing. So kudos to you, Gunners Boss, in being diversified in the things that you're interested in. And I think more people should be that way. So kudos to you.
Sports is my job. I am a junkie. I am a sports junkie. You see, these platforms are my dealers. You understand? One time it used to be a radio station, but people them violate and I cut them off. I'm not call them no more. So over here, so me I get my drugs from. You understand? On the job, off the job. So I just that me do. From I know myself till now, I used to sit down with the late great Raymond Shaw.
Wait. Somebody, the honest boss, back up. Somebody say you don't know, Demos, you don't know cricket, that true?
No, well, me not interested. I know more cricket more than Demo. I just not interested. You see, when you last, it's just like this. The little man, them attack football and attack this football thing, you know. And me, I tell them, say, no. When me attack football with the legend like Raymond Sharp and Bobby Free and those people, them never born yet.
Yeah.
Then them used to sit down on my bar at 4 West Street between Water Lane and Tower Street, right in front of the Jamaica Record and X News. Where the X News used to print. And there's some used to have my bar across the street. And every journalist come sit down in my bar. Bobby Freeze, all of them were used to leave from Gleaner to down there. Me was my people them, and we sit down and talk sports. Not all the World Cup back in them time there and them things. But me just lost interest because you see, the thing is, you know. Yes, Demo. Big up yourself. Let me just veer to something and take this thing not about me right now. Forget about me for a minute. Yeah, Demo, I like how I come on the radio like 3 years ago while you was a member of that fraternity, and I tell these people about the Cricket Premier League in the United States, if you remember. And I tell these people, say, if you have interest in some little youth down at Jamaica and then can bat and bowl, get them in some classes, get them in some academies, get them up to par so them can get some contract to play because it's growing here. You know what I mean? Just say, one of the biggest upset in the world of sports, not just in a cricket, in all sports, when USA can beat Pakistan and they just start a fledgling league. If I sell Pakistan, sell it as well because of the Pakistani and them run the USA cricket league. So them will do that in order to advance USA status in the world of cricket. But a win is a win.
Right.
So I hope Demo get himself involved in that process so we can see him a batter, bowler, whatever position he play in the cricket world for USA or somebody in the near future. The day I will win our Demo, so put yourself in line and get this thing working.
So just gonna say I live in India and play against Pakistan when they play US, I guess. No, there's a lot of Indians in the team. I don't think it's 11 Indians, but it's quite a few Indians who are in the team actually.
But those are the people who putting the money in it. American and a whole Kranky, not interested in the cricket. It's the Indian and Pakistani population. That region population, Bangladesh and those people, they are the one who is putting their money and doing all of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of Asians who are involved in the cricket here in the US actually. So yeah, don't disagree.
Also, Kranky, you look like say you just have this phone to just take call from them. You know, me send you something, a very important article from yesterday. As me look over here and me see Dallas troubles. Me think I'm most likely the Dallas Mavericks you're talking about. But I send you an article from yesterday about the new owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and I don't see.
No. I haven't forgot. Here's the thing, Gunners Boss. I struggle, you know, with this whole channel thing. The Gunners Boss, it take enough time, you know. I mean, I have busy days, even though I'm retired now. I'm more busy than when I was working. I got your article. I read the article. It was about the owner of Dallas Maverick, whose husband owned the Vegas, whatever it is, casino. She's an Israeli physician. Let me read it. Let me go over it. Let me read it. Israeli physician, one of the richest women in America, about $37 billion. And it's really interesting that she's Jewish, owned the Mavericks, but Kyrie's not playing for her, given some of the problems he's had. Am I summarizing that right?
Yeah, man, something like that.
Okay,
Kyrie been quiet. They quiet Kyrie. And if you remember, number 45 was like Mark Cuban beating stick. Mark Cuban used to beat that man, tell him, you're not rich, you don't have no money, you just a fake and all them things. You understand me? And now you all of a sudden from she get involved. Mark Cuban haven't tweeted about number 45 or have nothing to say about him. This woman is the most powerful woman in the world right now, you know. This is a woman who is deciding how nations run across the world, you know. She are the biggest financer of number 45, you know, and she is the biggest funder of what is going on over there between those two nations right now, you know. It's not a nice person, it's not a normal woman, you know.
Yeah. She's a big supporter of Trump, actually.
Worse than Donald Sterling, brother.
Yeah.
Worse than Matt Ishbia, we are running the Phoenix Suns right now, and worse than the one where them take it from the other day. Very, very, very dangerous person if you're looking at background. So that is that right there. So that is the article when you want you look for and see it. You just never know if you check it out. You know?
No, I read it. I know that Mark Cuban sold majority interests in the organization, but I didn't realize that was Miriam Adelson and her son-in-law who bought those interests. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
And they are not interested in basketball one lick, you know. What they are trying to do, those are the people who bring the casinos on them, because they are the owners of the Suns resorts.
Right.
And other companies that's involved that in that conglomerate. So now they are the ones who bring the casino business to Asia, and take off a piece of the China market. So what they really want to do now is bring legal gambling into Texas through the casinos. Because Texas don't have that. So they're spending all this money now on the Texas politicians, the hardcore Texas politician and all these people. Between she and her husband, them give over $6 billion to that side, to orange here side of the politics throughout them time.
Yeah, no, they you're right, Gunners. I mean, I don't want to get into the political discussion, and you and I got to catch up.
No.
But I'll say this: you're right about the fact that there are people behind the scenes who have a lot of influence, as we're seeing with Leon, in terms of how decisions are made. Decisions are made, and sometimes we're not aware of it, and their power is unseen, but it's felt actually. So yeah, don't disagree with you. Yeah, people, please hit the like button while you're here. Yeah, go ahead, Gunners. So Gunners, what is your thought on, before we go further, what's your thought on the whole situation with the Reggae Boyz, the squad, and some of the drama that's being played out?
First things first. I went on a show earlier today. I was the first caller. And I said this thing. Diego and everybody, Pioneer, everybody, and I hear me, you know, me I calling out, no, I want to come join Kranky live and defending myself. The man them jump on my conversation, you know. I mean, hear all people, I say things what I've been saying. And people disagree with it, and I say, oh, you're a joker, oh, you're this and that. But now some other people is saying it, and they are accepting it. I said from day one, after I listened to what Leon Bailey said, remember me and you and somebody else and coach have this conversation one time too, you know. after Leon Bailey went on that interview and he said, I am taking a break. He looked at the man and he said, I don't remember what the party name, Drippings or whatever. I said, you think the Drippings are keeper? Me, I miss that. And I try to tell people, say, he set up the federation right there. He break the curfew. Everything what this man do was calculated. It was what you call premeditated action. If you just listen to the things them when he said back in the interview, that first interview with the dude there, Jay Frost or whatever name. Him tell you all of these things. So it was the only thing is if they want me to play, they have to allow me to run this thing and do how I want, when I want. I said, don't call him back, and if him even try to come back when him done please himself, don't take him back. And that means it said, oh no, we're so don't mean say we run him away. Because I did not like the way how the curfew thing go out. And even when I speak to the head of the federation, he said, yes, it's not that stringent. We are easing up on it because he also does not believe we should be policing adult professional people when they come to represent the country. If you represent the country with the nation with pride and joy, you're going to do the right things. Kranky, as an American, we're not going to say soldier have to fight war, but when you put on that flag, that red, white, and blue, Kranky, you know the honor and the respect behind it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with the red, green, and black, the black, green, and gold. When you put that black, green, and gold on, you're supposed to have the highest honor, standard, and respect for it, and don't disrespect it and try to prove yourself with doing other things to suit you. I agree, say you can take time if you choose to take time, but if this is not a dialogue what we have, where you say, me know say this is the rule, so me I go block the curfew because me know them all suspend and that mean what they happen. Me I go say those things now. Then again, you should just leave this guy alone. You should even put him for nothing because last night me on the channel and when the people them here say whisper and Leon was backing at the team. The way how the Jamaican people them love them. Me say it was a party. The channel jumped from 800 and add to 2,000 and add people on it in no time because like the news got spread. So these guys joined back the team and people want to hear and love them, want them in the team. We don't need to go chase them down. What we need to do now is get the players who want to play for Jamaica and represent the Jamaica. Not the people them who feel to say them past Jamaica level, so them not have to play for we have to bow down to them. And that's how it goes. When LeBron James them decide to them not play, like here they go them. And then the next thing when the people them do with the national football, Kranky, they're mixing up the national football with club sports and the NBA. The NBA run a whole different show from where the woman basketball run it, from where the national basketball run with Coach K and Greg Popovich them and them thing, man, you know. It's a whole different thing. So when you're over there, so it's not no professional NBA settings over there, so where people have their billions of dollars and spending their billions of dollars. You know, see, to them, you look at me, say it's like 4 or 5 different people and organization pay the US women's team player them. It's not the federation pay all of them, the federation pay like 12 of them, you know, you have some, and US, Canada, federation pay some, and then you have some other private sectors or some other company that make up the money and pay the people them. So people take this federation thing and this Jamaica football thing like say it's supposed to be a place where you go and put in application for your next job. This is the way to your next job. No, your first job is a way into the national team. That means to say you're supposed to be good enough to be here. And that's how it's supposed to go. So me want the coach to go out there now. Forget about those people. Craig Butler is a POS. I am going to say it. I don't like him, and I don't have no respect for Craig Butler interfering with the national team and what we are trying to do here. Go and sit down and go away and handle your business. Take care of Phoenix. Coming into the national program and talking, Mr. Speed can't stop the team with his players from over Cavaliers. So if you stop them thing there, but nobody cannot use the national team to stop their club players in there. This is not back in the days. This is now where everything's out there and the people are vigilant and looking who is going into the team. So unlike say you can bring scrubs in a team, you have to can play football to get on the national line. And that some people understand. So all of them things that we stop, and I don't believe said no national our federation is going out there cranky. Boy, I love you. Give me 15 minutes to talk. And then
we're coming to the end of the program now, so we make your guys the other Canada coming, so we are geared time to say a thing.
You're gonna give it here for co-host. And it's coming like a co-host.
So you know here before the game say I need the what I'm say? Yes, I need the Gunners Boss hour. I need the Gunners Boss hour. So maybe one day we'll send you the link and you come on and you can have the hour. Just don't destroy my channel. Just don't destroy my channel because you know
no,
it no bill.
Them know say when I come with all. I have all these strays, man. You know you are going to catch these strays. You all in the comment going to catch these strays, man. I'm coming to fight y'all in the comment. That's what we're going to do. I'm just gonna pick herbs and fight with them. No disrespect, me now, cause nobody that we not do nothing, but we have to do that. We have to do that power. Give me that power when you're ready, Kranky. Anytime after now.
All right. So here's what interesting, Gunners Boss. Here's what's interesting. Mm-hmm. Previously, if we see the conversation with Leon and everybody else, most times the federation be getting beaten, and people would agree with Leon, right? There's a shift occurring. I'm not sure people realize that shift is occurring. The players' previous interviews, last two interviews, the player's more recent decision clearly seems to show to people, and the players' handlers' perspective is giving people a different thought, different view, and different way of sort of assessing this whole situation. It's not like before where it was just in the players' corner and they blame the administration. The administration basically saying, we don't deal with this, the coach deal with this, and the players embarrassing the coach. So the sentiment is shifting than it was previously.
Exactly. It's just like let me just veer off or something and come back. It's just like right now, after 14, 15 years, it's a waste of time trying back the Gaza boss. The people, the sympathies shift to his side now. So you're not going to find 7 or 12 people to find that man guilty right now. So it's a waste of taxpayer money. When you mess up on the evidence, let go the man. I saw me see it go. Now coming back to this thing now. With Craig Butler. It's too much now. Left Craig Butler, make him get the best players. Because you know what will happen to Craig Butler eventually? Jamaican people want to see Jamaican youth play, and them would have prefer to see a lot more youth from Jamaica in the national team. That will bring out more people. What Craig Butler is doing is destroying his own organization. Sooner than later, the people who love football and love to see them kids get to the next further is not going to allow you to control their kids, Mr. Butler. They are not going to send their kids to your academy or send them to the high school that you're coaching because that's where you're keeping them. People are talking about you have great success. No. We tell you some people will have great success. Coach K from Donga Duke have great success. The big man over racers are when name we run Usain Bolt and Sheridan.
Frano, you talk about Frano.
Mr. Francis. Those are we come at Jamaica. That is a great success right there. That is great success. You have two little youth and them have little talent and you put them in a club. You get them over so why you don't go to the club? Go to Aston Villa and tell them, say, me now make Leon play for you unless you not get whisper to. That is where you go and negotiate with people. You don't come negotiate nothing in a national team. You're corrupt. You're a bad person. The national team supposed to be left alone for the people who are running and we the little man them out the road when we don't like what we ball and we want to criticize them. You is an administrator. You're running a business we have to do with football. You're destroying the youth them future in football. Because if every youth will have little can play a little ball and have little thing, you have to tell them, say, oh, Jamaica and Jamaica, they do this. Yeah, tell 16-year-old, 18-year-old when they were born when you're in Jamaica, they go through the process and they are accused of it where you were accused of and you couldn't get through to get the youth them to go away because based on your behavior. Just accept that, man, and know say that at the past, man. And move on, man. I'll leave this thing alone, man. Because I think you make more money out of running Phoenix Academy more than have anything to do with the JFF. So what's so with you and the JFF? Yeah, so Mr. Steve want tough team player them in there. No, you have, that is your plan because if you are saying everybody who you have to marry them, like how they used to marry if you want a piece of saltfish, you have to marry 2 pounds of flour back in the days when things was sharp. And you have to marry to your player them. So if you not take the scrub, you're not gonna get the good one.
Gunners Boss, you can see like you have a shop at Jamaica way back when.
Then we don't know then used to go back in ideas, man. Back in ideas are married, they used to marry things, you know.
Yep.
If you want flour, you have to buy Camille, you know.
Yep.
So them thing that this man do, you know, this man tell you say, even though him no good, this your part, this no good for you. You have to take this to get that. Go, man. Some people they just tell you to go, man. And the JFF not supposed to have nothing to do with it. They're not supposed to keep you unaffiliated and make you do what you do because people know what are going to get to find out that you is a dangerous person. First thing, as you get a little youth and him can play like a football and him have like a potential, you take him from them parents, them and want other grown men. We go so and give them your name. And then now you want to corrupt them for not play for the Jamaica team. And all these things. You're not doing nothing good for football. You're doing what is good for you. So keep on your private business and do your thing, man. And Jamaican people, why can't you make a lift up out of Jamaican car that go somewhere else, man? And that you do. And that you go on. No, me about the fire. Them used to say one time when this thing just started, you know. And from this thing just started, me always tell them, so the brother come in like, in a team, we can't even put him on Laval Ball in the same thing. Because Laval Ball know what he was doing. He wasn't doing nothing with the national team. He was doing it with the clubs. But you now win because you can't go to no club and tell them say if they want this one, they have to take that one.
Yeah.
The national team cannot pay your bills and it cannot pay to run your academy. The national team does not have much to offer anyone. It's we are looking, not what the national team can do for you. It's what can you do for the national team? As a national team running a sports. Yeah, so people if you just understand, so when you come tell me about you have to talk to my agent. No, you have to tell me not if me want to come to Jamaica, come play football as a footballer. My wife, all me have to do is sit down and tell my wife and I pick them say, say, I want to represent Jamaica now, I want to wear the colours and go kick some ball for them. I don't have to tell my agent nothing, but if my agent have a problem with me going to play, I can find 10 different agents. And if Leon Bailey don't understand him star power, then I know that him can go further than just being a football player over Aston Villa or in the Premier League if him have a right agent. Because all you can do for him is make team life worse than what it is now. It is now a move forward. So you now benefit him really because we don't see him get no advertisement, no England, nor nowhere, and nothing. And him support him have like a thing to him thing when he could not do more than the way him do now. So what is your purpose team at that agent? To disrupt the Jamaica national football team, man, go and go sit down one side and allow the national team and not have nothing to say about Mr. Speed or the people them were inside that are going to run your academy and go over more and go win some more championship. Congratulate you for be the first coach in the history of Jamaica to take a mid-level school and beat the big bad high school, them like Kranky school, and Theo school, and Theo own school too, and Diego them school and them school there. Congratulations for that, and I love that. I like when the small man come up. So now what you need to do now? Move on from Mona and go try with Holy Trinity and see if you can win another championship with them. And leave the national program all together, period. Your only job should be is developing enough good footballers. So Mr. Halverson, Mr. Ricketts, and Mr. Speed, them can get to choose from. But you're in the way, bro. You're in the way, man. What's wrong with these dudes, man? You're just sitting in the way, just waiting down the thing every time when something look good, you just try to distract because you're a cloud chaser who want to be in the limelight. You want to be talked about. That's why they have to nearly 30 minutes now talk about you.
Hey, Gunners Boss, me have a clip you when it's done. Me clip you and make a thumbnail of this. Keep going.
Yeah, man, just go and sit down, man, and leave this alone, man. We don't want you, boy. We don't want you to have nothing to do with the national program. But still, at the same time, if you behave yourself, we will encourage people to send youths to Phoenix Academy. Because we don't want the youth them. We don't want rich man Kranky sending youth come burn down the National Academy. We want you to eat our food by getting the youth them we have come from foreign in a few academy and develop them so them can go back to them parents and collect people. So we can keep our National Academy to under 16, under 17, under 15 team. Yeah, man. That's your freedom, man. Leave within alone, man. Make a national team. Run, man. We don't need you to be no ambassador. We don't need you to do nothing. We don't need you to supply with no player if you have to corrupt them first. So you just leave that alone. And the people, them, the coach, you need to leave this man players there. Because first thing when we have to blame the coach. But from the guy say he finished, man, and he want time out, man. I can't go tell my boss I need time out to go keep up while I come back to work when I'm ready. I can't tell him that I don't have a job. So where you get that from? This is not your boss then. But we can't, it is even worse. We can't tell my boss that I work at 5 jobs. It is worse when me say, me devote myself to the national pride and me have to tell the national people then this. I don't agree with nobody who say You said Jamaica do nothing for you. I now put things out of context. I believe you was talking about the Jamaica Football Federation not helping you along your journey towards success. But I saw it go. A lot of people get fall through the crack and still come back and represent in all different forms and ways. So that should never even be a problem because I know JFF, you've gone overseas and you play where you play and you do what you do. And it was a good move for you. So there should nothing be for you to be disgruntled about Leon Bailey.
So Gunners Boss, here's a question for you, Gunners Boss. Where do we go from here?
Get don't call nobody from over there.
But Gunners Boss, go back to what you're saying. Because you're saying, look, even though the person may be toxic, he's taking young men who may be from disadvantaged environment and he's molding them to make them into good footballers so they can then go out, get jobs and provide for their families, right? So will we penalize the kids who are under his dominion, frankly, from getting opportunities? Or do we say, you know what, we're going to take those kids, but we don't want to engage with you?
But we can't take the kids and make them under his tutelage. That's the problem. You can't just take them, So if I him control them, if they was controlled by their parents, and we understand, so well, all right then. We send my son to high school, but the teacher and the principal and the vice principal don't respond to him when he come in at my house. So me can talk to my son and tell him certain things. But this man look like him responds to these kids every time, everywhere. Them sleep, when them eat and them drink. Me hear a youth from over Grand Spain one time, do one clippings and call up name and say, you know, you come take some youth from 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock out of the yard and I carry them go for your big house. I want to go on and rare. I never know. Nobody name, We just hear some people attack something on TikTok and YouTube, And people send the clippings come give me, So I want to know why you think say you have to be so much involved in so much people like. Did you know that the great LeBron James and Michael Jordan, when they left high school, their high school coach done with them, unless they want to the athlete want to contact them or contribute to them. Did you know that when they leave and go to college, when them left North Carolina, Dean Smith they never have nothing much to do with him. Unless him want to donate to North Carolina or do something or put an endowment or whatever he does there. These people is not going around and say, no, I'm training from him a 5-year-old and now him at 21 and him a pro, me respond to him and away me say, you think weak, brother, you're careless.
Gunners Boss, you bring up an interesting conversation, which may not be to finish tonight, but it's an interesting one, people. So think about it. What Gunners Boss is saying is that in a lot of instances, players may have agents, but those agents are not the player's coach. They're not the player's manager. They don't have a lifelong relationship. Agent relationship may start early, like in high school sometime or after high school. Not that in high school is about boost people and put money in your pocket so they can get you when you go to the pros. But what he's saying is that this person is much more than an agent. He's controlling the player's total being from really young to whenever. And here's the question he's asking, is that okay? Because even though Speed gets beaten, Speed gets them young, he sells them, he moves on, right? That's how that sort of works. And he puts the money into his club, whatever, he's his majority shareholder. But this person is controlling these players from inception to wherever they end up actually. So it's an interesting conversation you're bringing up, Gunners Boss. And just you're saying that example, I am trying to figure out where that also occurs, where that resides any place else actually. Because most players will go to an academy, right? The academy does not affiliation with the player from an agent standpoint. In fact, it may even be a conflict, frankly. So that's an interesting engagement model, actually. Really interesting.
Yeah, man. No, man. You can't, you know, control the youth them no more, man. When they move on, man.
Yeah.
And they move on and do other things, man. Well, if you say I'm agent to negotiate with him, with his club, is for the most money when play in football, let him job. That's what my union negotiate with my company for me get more money. If me say me want to represent my nation, my union have nothing to tell me. Take it or leave it. You understand? And that's how it's supposed to be. Develop player. You develop player to sell them. And we call them because them good when we ready for them and we see them and them good and we hold dialogues with them and then say, yeah man, I come play man, what it takes and what is the requirement and we solve out something.
So people are saying, Kranky and Gunners Boss, you guys are missing a couple examples. Tiger Woods' father, even though he may not have been his agent, people, his father is the one who took him from day one through his entire process, entire life. But those people were their actual blood relatives. And same thing with Serena and Venus. But at some point, they cut the neighbor string, didn't they?
Shaquille O'Neal also with Sarge's stepfather. But these people was only influencing their life. Shaquille O'Neal played for the USA. It was never been a problem, no time at all, because Sarge as a military man know the value and the respect of the flag. Serena Williams, them never have a problem with representing nothing. Them father Richard was never their agent. They just looked over them and they always there over them. They have their agent who go out and negotiate deals for them. So it's a whole different thing that this man is coach, owner of the academy. Nothing wrong with them thing, you know. Coach at a high school, coach at everywhere, and you're still messing with the national program. The national program must not be messed with by people who involved anywhere else. And this thing about Mr. Speed, we don't have enough people in the thing. I listen to Mr. Speed for your thing, you know. And one thing, you know, you cannot lie in the public domain and people don't counter your lies. That man tell Kranky, give Kranky an interview, and that man says some things. And when you look on that man, as he said, this man wear so many shirts in the arena, the sporting arena. And he never been arrested, never been locked up, or never been investigated for any criminal activity. That means to say he's doing everything right, going around all these things starting from he was a teenager, 18-year-old. When he get a little piece of food for nepotism, and then hold it and use that nepotism and get him food.
Well, he got recommended by an aunt. I wouldn't call it nepotism, but he got recommended by an aunt.
Mr. Speed have a boss, him now vex me not when me say nepotism put him in the door and him take it. Because Kranky, nepotism can put you anywhere, you know, but you have to hold your foot to stay there, you know.
Yeah.
Then you can't come here tomorrow, man, and say, I look something, you know, I can't go for work, go for my place, man, and tell him, I say, yeah, job, man. And 2 days him say, fine, you know, so me have to go fire him, your friend, because your friend don't really do the work the way I want to do it, you know him, I do. Then nepotism get in, but I don't have to keep it, because I can't do nothing for you, ask people, because you're not satisfied with your performance.
Yeah. No, I agree, Gunners. We gotta cut this soon, Gunners, because I have to go soon. But I say this, Gunners. I appreciate the call.
How soon?
It's 8:30. I'm cutting off. I'm normally go to 8. I'm 6 to 8, and I'm religious with that because you're on and you haven't been on before in terms of this call, at least to this extent. I decided to make a special allowance for you, but I want to make sure that I stick with my 6 to 8 in terms of 2 hours. And cover all the things I want to cover off in those 2 hours. And it's not because I'm trying to run people, but I have other things in life that I need to do. And this YouTube thing take enough time. I tell you, Gunners, much more than I thought.
You know the respect. You know the respect up to you in the military might, military power. You understand? So you're walking now. With that said, you want to cut off now. So we are going to run along. We need to have some more. Oh, you say 8:30, right?
Yeah, 8:30. 6 minutes left. 6 minutes left. Yeah, 6 minutes.
How many years nobody after?
Dre said he was gonna come on, but I don't see Dre, and I dropped Dre the link. But Dre, anyway, like I said, he had a lot to say. And Dre, if we're gonna catch up now, we catch up Monday, Dre. Because this will still be news, even though I want to cut the news and focus on the team. Because you know what? We haven't talked about any player in the team. Boss, we have just talked about the drama surrounding the team. We haven't talked about the team, frankly. And the tournament starts next week, Saturday, people. I will be doing watch along, and I hope you can join me as watch along. I'll try to get some guests like Andre on, because you know Andre runs an academy, knows football, and going to have people like yourself and others join the stream.
You know me always there, Kranky. Once we get the notification, I have my bell, so my bell I boss for everything. Yeah, man, Dre, anyway, that should know over here, but me just see him over mix up kind of over Instagram with.
Okay.
Me not call it mix up kind of with Flipper and Tony Mataran and them over. Him there for Instagram with them live there over there. So that's why I'm there. You see my type in my comments.
Okay.
Dre, anyway, that you can't do that. If you join live, I hear so the thing I do, you're an all platformer. You're everywhere. I want to with Dre and put him thing out there, you know?
Yeah. Nah, yeah. I have a view, man.
Man.
All right,
man. So for the next you still have 5 minutes. You want to cut it now?
Yeah, man. We can catch up, man. You have enough time to call back in. And you know what? We can talk about some of the things that you mentioned, such as because as I told you before, this is not a Jamaica football program, even though Jamaica football is a key thing we talk about quite a bit, and it's where a lot of the fans are very focused on. But I do want to expand the conversation and elevate the conversation, talk about things other than just Jamaica national football, because most people don't talk about the national team at all now. You talk about club teams mostly. So when it comes to like EPL season, we'll be talking about EPL football, even though we may still tinker with some Jamaica football. And I love cricket. I love basketball. I love NFL. Talk sports, not just football.
Yeah, man, we have to talk sports and we have to talk the business of sports, and we will be also getting into a little other conversation at the moment that is important. That's not too political. That's gonna get us in any trouble. So we have enough thing we have to discuss over here. And the people them will say them rate the knowledge in the sports. You haven't getting nothing yet. I got a lot in my brain right here. First thing to let them up. So we go and talk. Demo, you tell you ready to talk cricket. Talk cricket when we used to go sit down and watch Brian Lara them over. It's funny, let me say this before me go. My first son, my second child mother, friend is Jennifer Lara. Jennifer Lara, I used to ask her, is Brian Lara your family? Because she's my first son godmother. Jennifer Lara is a legendary, late great Jennifer Lara is a legendary cover artist for Dennis Brown and all of these people. She had some albums out there. Go and check her out. Yeah, she did now, but that's my son godmother. And those days, based on her and the friendship with me, and when we live at Sly Pen Road, we used to walk up from 7th Sly Pen Road, right out on North Street and reach out to Sabina Park. We never used to miss no much, brother. So when Brian Lara, them they play back in the days, Walsh and the one where have the gas station, Garden Greenwich. I couldn't watch it have the gas station up in the New Kingston somewhere up there, right?
I don't remember it's Courtney. I know Courtney had that club just like
no, that was Michael Holding.
Okay. Actually, I have a picture here in my living room with Michael Holding, He's a KC old boy. He's a KC old boy, actually.
I think he used to have a gas station at Hope Road and Oxford, Trafalgar Road, somewhere right up there. And once you leave out Crossroad going up there. So yeah, so those was the day when we watched cricket, when cricket was nice. Not knowing cricket when USA I beat Pakistan.
Yeah, you have to. So that times have changed, right? Times have changed. That's heresy for the UK say they beat Pakistan. USA don't play cricket, and they beat Pakistan, who is perennially a very good cricketing nation. Anyway, Donald's boss, I'll leave it. I'll take Dre call and then we're done. Dre call me, but so we catch up.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Dre, anyway, me make allowance for you, Dre, because I'm done by 8:30 June. You call almost the appointed time. Good night, Dre.
Yeah, man, I look forward to have more than just 2 minutes. But you left the last 2 minutes of the show for me.
Yes, you have 2 minutes.
What a wicked man like this, man. The man said me and Tony, man.
Instead of on Instagram, you have forsake we. You have an Instagram attack.
Yeah. Sometimes that's loud, man. Big up Penny's Corner. Big up Matter and Wella, South Florida. Big up, what else him say? Flipper, Wella, New York, and a big up in itself. But anyway, Kranky, long time I didn't want to chime in for more time than where you allow me right now. But yeah, very, very busy in this JFF press release and the squad announcement for the Copa America. Whole heap of controversy, never end. It's a never-ending soap opera with the JFF and what's taking place right now with the announcements of the Copa squad. So my take on this is, I'm not sure I can sum it up in 2 minutes or a minute and a half right now.
So I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5. Go on, take 5.
All right, so let's start with the fact that Leon Bailey took a break from the national team and he made it public that there's some demands that need to be made before he returns to the national team. Now, at the same time, he also got suspended by the coach for breaking curfew and whatever else, the reason why the coach gave it for him to suspend him, right? So now he took a break, so he still haven't served the suspension yet. Now he put on a party on the 21st, which is the day before our first Copa America game. And as a party promoter, he's promoting the party and it's his party. He's not gonna miss that party there because he must be there, he have obligation for that. Now I'm saying take a break, which would be World Cup and Copa America. Now the coach went on an interview in public, I think it was Sportsmax, it's up on my YouTube channel, the exact phrase when asked about Leon Bailey and his absence from the national team, he said that Leon Bailey is his best player and he would love for him to be back in the national team. Now, with that said, first of all, with all the players in the team, you shouldn't have gone out and made it public that Leon Bailey is your best player. Because you know what comes with that. It's a team sport. And with the diva-like attitude that the player has or tends to have, making demands and want to get preferential treatment, it's really not allowed in a team sport because you're not much that different or bigger than the team and the country. Now, you say you took a break? All right. So now the coach name a squad and he's going to put your name in the squad. And you never yet came out and said that you're ready to return to the national team. Because 2 days ago, he also did an interview on CBM, The Cut. Wayne Marshall, make sure me hear a ding in my Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle after the show, and because I give you a free promotion right there. So Wayne Marshall program, The Cut, over on CBM. He again said that he's taking a break from the national team. He does not know when he's going to return until his demands or stipulations are met. Now, there has been negotiations since then between Bailey's agent and the JFF representatives. There's also been meetings. Now, it's also came to our attention that there was a couple of phone calls involving Bailey and the coach, one of which lasted 2 hours. Now, we're not sure what took place in that phone call, but the day after, the coach names him in a 26-man squad to go to Copa America. Now, yes, here where the coach went wrong here. You're going to name him in the squad, but yet he hasn't served his suspension yet.
Well, they're saying his suspension was the Nations League, the 2 games, so he served the suspension. That's what someone said in the chat.
No, here it is. How is he going to serve the suspension when he withdraw from the national team before the time of the suspension?
Yeah, I know, Dre, but you know, people sometimes don't realize.
All right. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let's leave that there. We understand that part of it. Now, the second thing is, you're going to name him in the squad. 1, he has served the suspension, and 2, he never came out and said he's now available. He's now ready to return to the national team. And 3, you're saying that you include him in the squad, given the fact that he has the party on the 21st, but he can join up with the team after his party and be a part of the squad. Now, Kranky, isn't that between me and you and the fans them in the comment section, isn't that now deemed preferential treatment?
Well, someone is here saying that every professional team has preferential treatment. I don't think people realize that situations like this cause dissension in the ranks. So if you tell a person why shouldn't every person then go have them party and turn up just before the game? Why would you want to hold anyone to having come to the team, training facilities, work through strategy, work through plays, train with the team? They can come whenever they want to play because they're supposed to be the best players in my team. I'm not sure how that works. I don't hear any other team. By the way, I don't hear any other team doing that. See people at Euros. Yeah. I see people at Copa America. I don't see Messi doing that.
The rest of the team running around in the sun at each and every day during the World Cup window while you're planning for a party and touring Mexico, Miami, supposedly Orlando, because I know he's gonna. I think Craig said they're going to Disney World or whatever. But you touring the world and going to the match in the National Stadium, in the stands, taking photographs and all of that and doing your media rounds and all that. But then after your party, you're allowed to join up with the team the day after or 2 days after or whenever. Because you definitely can't. Kranky, we know that parties don't last. If the party said the 21st, the party not over on the 21st. The party are going to the wee hours of the 22nd.
Yep.
So then what? You're flying to camp, go meet up with the rest of the team, tipsy or hungover. How is that going to look to your teammates and the rest of the team? Now, that's the third thing I blame the coach about. You can't make a negotiation like that because no player is bigger than the rest of the team and no player is bigger than the country. I mean, people may beg to differ when it comes to Ronaldo and Messi. But Bailey is no Ronaldo and Bailey is no Messi. And Kranky, the world knows, Jamaica knows because them call me bootlick already by Ryan's show, that Leon Bailey, though he don't produce for the country or does the stats don't show it also, he's my favorite player on the field.
All right.
He's my favorite player. So with that said, I'm disappointed in the coach for naming him in the squad and expect him to show up when there is also backdoor negotiations where if Bailey is called, then another player has to be in the under-20 squad also called. So I don't understand. I don't get it. Now the coach came out and tried to do a damage control interview, 2-minute interview, and it's not worth it. And all the hassle that is causing and the backlash, we don't need it right now going into the Copa America. We should be focused on such a huge tournament with so many stars around the world showing up after a long season of whether it be Serie A, English Premier League, La Liga. They are there in camp preparation for this big Copa America tournament. And he's touring and partying and living his best life.
So Dre, here's what people don't realize, Dre. Here's what people don't realize. So maybe I'm making things up here, but I'm just going to say it's just very coincidental that since Bailey has not played with the national team, and I think Whisper did it before that Whisper also has been injured quite a bit, actually, and can't play. Now, some of it may be legitimate, but sometimes there's a person in the background withholding their players from the national team, not the first time, not the second time. There shouldn't be any other time. As I said before, I wouldn't have called Whisper going forward because the kid refused to come the last time he was called and made up some rationale as to why, because he had a party. To me, you have to set examples. You don't play for the national team? Good luck to you. Go do your thing. But I think people sometimes are very biased and are not objective in their thinking. So, Dre, we out of time, Dre.
Look at my earpod. This one does not.
Look like Dre busy.
5 minutes off.
Yeah, you're 5 minutes off. You're 5 minutes off.
Pick up everybody in the chat.
Yeah, man.
Earpod just died.
Okay, all right, Dre. Yeah, you need to buy, but you need to make sure you stop be like Speed on them where your phone drop out or your earpod drop out. But anyway, we appreciate you being here. Thanks. People, that was Dre Anyweather, who mentioned that Leon was his favorite player. I shouldn't say it was. It's not past tense, but that is very disappointed in how things have transpired. And look, I'm going to bring the program to a close. First of all, I want to say this. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I appreciate everyone who's been here. There's 100 people here. You could be someplace else. So I appreciate you being here. Love the phone calls we receive. Love the comments. Love the conversation. We will not always agree. I'm sure people are saying, Kranky, I disagree with you. Most of your perspective. You know, me and Demo always can't agree. Demo alone. Sometimes me and Gunners Boss agree. There are a number of people, but me and Tony was in the chat earlier in the UK. But one thing we want to make sure is that we respect each other, respect each other's view, keep the conversation civil. We love you being here. Hope you can join me next Monday. I've decided to do this Monday through Thursday because why you don't do them show you I'm tired. I know old Minzy and Manningsman and JD and all them do it because I tell them I'm tired. People say, Kranky, you're retired. Why you have to do? I have a life outside of doing this, you know. And first of all, if you're going to do these things, you need to prepare for them. So you can't just turn up and just want to talk on top of your head. You have to go get your facts first. You have to watch programs first. You have to read first to get the information, to disseminate information, to inform others. And at the same time, I'm learning while we go through the process. I respect your views. I respect everyone's perspective, no matter how much I disagree with you. So with all that said, thanks for being here. If you haven't done so, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. And be good. Have a great weekend. Take care. And as we said before we go out, love the dialogue, love the engagement, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening and weekend. Bless up. Kranky life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Kranky life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Kranky life, tell them. Kranky life, heed them. Kranky life, want them. Kranky life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Kranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Kranky life, tell them. Kranky life, heed them. Kranky life, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Kranky life, get to know the name because Kranky analysis is never lame. Kranky life, give me my Kranky life. I want my Kranky life. Must have my Kranky life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Kranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Kranky life. Tell them, Kranky life. Heed them, Kranky life. Want them, Kranky life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Kranky Live. Tune into Kranky Live. Like up Kranky Live. Subscribe to Kranky Live. Kranky Live coming to you on weekdays. Kranky Live sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Kranky will always bring the heat. Kranky Live. Me say fi tell them Kranky life. Me say fi heed them Kranky life. On them Kranky life. Kranky life will be around. Kranky life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them. Want them, Kranky life. Kranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Kranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them.